Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. Did you guys watch JD Vance today filling in for Charlie Kirk? That was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Not only was it amazing, it was historical. You know, here you have Charlie Kirk, who we all knew who Charlie Kirk was before the Never-Trumpers, the liberals, assassinated him. But none of us, not even Charlie Kirk, I don't think, realized how important he was and how big he was to so many people, millions and millions, tens of millions of people in this country. And his radio show and podcast, and his show on Real America's Voice, I watched it on the Real America's Voice app. Think about it. It's the first Monday after his assassination, and the Vice President of the United States is hosting the show, filling in for him. From it looked like his office, the Vice President's office, or a conference room, whichever it was, at the White House. That looked like the Vice President's office or a conference room in the old Executive Office building, which is next door to the White House, is where the Vice President's office is, and most of the workers in the White House work. And I watched every second of that show, and I was blown away. And he brought in a lot of people who knew Charlie Kirk, including Tucker Carlson and Bobby Kennedy and others. And they talked about Charlie Kirk and what's going on and what is the plan moving forward. But then at the end, the last, he had Susie Wiles on, was his last guest, the White House Chief of Staff, who they're always talking about how Susie Wiles is like this tough woman. And every time you see her, she's like a sweet little lady. But after the Susie Wiles segment, Charlie Kirk was memorialized by the vice president in a way that you've never heard JD Vance speak. I'm going to go through that in just a moment, and then we'll break it down and talk about it. But the historical significance of having the vice president of the United States take over his show on the first Monday after his assassination by the Never-Trumpers, the Democrats, the establishment, the kooks, all these weirdos that have been opposing the MAGA movement, it really made a statement. It made a major statement. And not only did it make a statement about the importance of Charlie, J.D. Vance, in particular when he was talking with Susie Wiles, they were talking about the strategy moving forward with Turning Point USA and what their strategy is, which I may get to in a little bit. And they have a plan, they have a strategy, and the movement will go on much larger than it would have been. I mean, I've been seeing people in my live chat all day. I started really noticing it yesterday, and more people are doing it. Just typing in the chat, "I am Charlie Kirk." This is a thing that people are picking up. It's been a long time since the United States had someone that they rally behind like this in times of tragedy. And we've talked a lot about how the assassination of Charlie Kirk is the first political assassination since Martin Luther King in 1968. And one of these bizarro talking points that the liberals have, this is not a political assassination. Sure is. And if you go back and you watch J.D. Vance and that entire show he did filling in for Charlie Kirk today. And let me say this. What they've done with the Charlie Kirk Show, which is a radio show, podcast, and TV show, is what they should have done with the Rush Limbaugh Show when he died. Instead of rebranding it with a bunch of half-wit no-talents and calling it whatever they call it, they should have kept it the Rush Limbaugh program and had a rotating group of hosts that would take over and fill in for Rush forever. But they didn't do that. Craziness happened. But it looks like Charlie Kirk Show is going to continue forever with, I guess they'll rotate host, at least for a while, until they settle in on what the long-term plan is going to be with that show. And I think that's great, and it shows great respect. And I don't know if Rush Limbaugh's widow owns the rights to the Rush Limbaugh program show, or if it's been so. I don't know what the status of all that trademark and everything is, but boy, wouldn't that have been amazing if they would have done that? Heck yeah. And they're definitely doing it with Charlie Kirk. And I've seen stories already in the news here in Florida. There's local officials talking about renaming roads after Charlie Kirk. And it won't be long until we see a school named after Charlie Kirk. Right? It's amazing. You know, and this country, because we've been so divided by the left, you know, the left have been brainwashing people for the last, 3 decades or so, to be ashamed of America and hate America, and it's been a long time since we've had a new hero. You know, Donald Trump's a hero of ours, but I'm talking about a hero who's fallen defending what this country is all about. And make no mistake about it, Charlie Kirk was assassinated for a number of reasons, no single reason, but he certainly is an American patriot, and it's been a long time since we've had an American patriot fall for stand. The last time something even close was Beamer on 9/11, Flight 93, the Let's Roll guy, if you remember him. But this is bigger than that. I mean, this is like Martin Luther King level stuff, really, with Charlie Kirk. And I was very impressed with Vice President JD Vance. And another thing about it, JD Vance, obviously what's going on here is this was JD filling in for Charlie Kirk today was out of honoring and respecting Charlie Kirk and his legacy and all of that. But it was also President Trump setting JD Vance up to be his successor. He was very presidential, and you could tell if you watch or listen, and wherever you were tuned in, if you listen to J.D. Vance on that program today, he was hosting the show. He wasn't a guest. He was actually in the host chair hosting the show from the White House. And you can see that he is definitely a man in charge who is very well prepared to take over the reins when Trump decides to hand them over to him. And one of these things I mentioned a few moments ago, these idiotic talking points that the liberals have is, Charlie Kirk was not a politician. Oh, my God. If you listen to that, Susie Wiles, Bobby Kennedy also, when Bobby Kennedy was talking to J.D. Vance on the show today, they were talking about, and Tucker too, about how important behind the scenes Charlie Kirk was in putting together the cabinet, strategizing politically, helping with the transition. He was very much a politician. I don't know if he would have been president or vice president one day. Who knows? But he certainly was a big power broker behind the scenes with the Republican Party, and much more so than people thought. I think a lot of people thought, yeah, he's around, he knows these guys. But he, next to Trump, he's the one guy that can command a crowd somewhere. And because of that, he's got a lot of influence and he's got a lot of followers on social media and all this stuff. And all that's important. But what you found out today with J.D. Vance talking to all of these different people from the cabinet and such is that Charlie Kirk, President Trump owes, let me tell you, it seems to me that President Trump owes the most out of everyone else who's worked for him and advocated for him. Charlie Kirk did more work behind the scenes to get President Trump reelected, I think, than anyone realized. Maybe even people in the Trump circle, because they've been so busy. I don't know if they've had time to think about it. But since it was all verbalized today, you got to hear it. So I am going to take calls, by the way. If you want to call in, you can. If you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening at 888-465-2631. Now, if you're watching live, I have 2 live streams going of the podcast. If you're watching on the live stream where you see the green behind me, if you hop over to my other live stream, you'll be able to see and hear the video and the audio that I share. Okay, you get the green screen effect if you go over to that other stream, and there's a link to that stream, a direct link in the description of that video with the green screen. So look in that description, click over, jump over to the main stream where the main chat is, and you'll be able to see and hear what I'm going to go over with the Vice President right now. If you're on hold, stand by. I will get to the phones in a little bit. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, Just search for The Brian Craig Show and I'll pop up. If you want to catch the podcast live, where you can call in and everything else, follow me on YouTube, because I do live stream the podcast and then upload it afterwards to all the podcast platforms. Just go to YouTube and search The Brian Craig Show or Brian Craig Show. It'll pop up, or on YouTube Music. All right, so let me go through this, and then after we go through this, I'll take calls. This is the Vice President of the United States, who I was really impressed with. You know, I like JD Vance, and I'm originally from Ohio, so I got a bond with him because he's a Buckeye too. But and I've heard him speak, and I've seen him on some interviews, but I've never heard him on his own for a long period of time. And when he was in the host chair, he was driving the whole discussion. And watching him for 2 hours as himself was pretty impressive. I was very much impressed with JD. Now, this part I'm going to go through, this was the final segment. He did all the interviews. He finished up with Susie Wiles. They took a commercial break, and he came back, and he told several stories. And I'm just going to play this, and then I'll stop down as we go and talk about some of it. But JD Vance made a lot of great points, and he totally went off here. Listen to this.
I really do believe that we can come together in this country. I believe we must. But unity, real unity, can be found only after climbing the mountain of truth.
Yeah.
And there are difficult truths we must confront in our country. One truth is that 24% of self-described, quote, very liberals believe it is acceptable to be happy about the death of a political opponent, while only 3% of self-described very conservatives agree. 3% is too many, of course. Another truth is that 26% of young liberals believe political violence is sometimes justified.
Oh my goodness, that's a quarter.
And only 7% of young conservatives say the same. Again, too high a number. In a country of 330 million people, you can, of course, find one person of a given political persuasion justifying this or that or almost anything. But the data is clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be told.
Okay. Now, this is JD Vance unplugged, right? I mean, we've all seen him talking a little bit here, a little bit there, doing an interview, going on for a few minutes. This is the first time we've seen JD Vance, I think, like totally on his own, what he's really like. And I'm very impressed by him. Aren't you guys? I am very impressed by JD Vance. And I'm very comfortable with him being our second MAGA president. This is not a Mike Pence, is it? No, it's not.
That problem has terrible consequences. The leader of our party, Donald J. Trump, escaped an assassin's bullet by less than an inch. Our House Majority Leader, Stephen Scalise, came within seconds of death by an assassin himself. And now, the most influential conservative activist in generations, our friend Charlie, has been murdered. This violence, it doesn't come from nowhere. Mm-hmm. Now, any political movement, violent or not violent, is a collection of forces. It's like a pyramid that stacks on top, one support on top of the other. That pyramid's got a foundation of donors, of activists, of journalists, now of social media influencers, and of course of politicians. Not every member of that pyramid would commit a murder. In fact, over 99%, I'm sure, would not. But by celebrating that murder, apologizing for it, and emphasizing not Charlie's innocence, but the fact that he said things some didn't like, even to the point of lying about what he actually said, many of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen. A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California.
Oh, now this is, so far so good, huh? I mean, he's right on the money. Now listen to this. This is terrible, what he went through. Remember when he went to Disneyland a while back? This next part, JD is going to talk about that. This is insanity.
And a fundraiser in Southern California, and since we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very cool minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little shit," one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. "Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father," screamed another. Are these women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left. After Charlie died, one of his friends and one of our senior White House staffers had left-leaning operatives in his neighborhood passing out leaflets telling people what he looked like and where he lived, encouraging neighbors to harass him or, God forbid, to do worse. While he was mourning his dead friend, he and his wife had to worry about the political terrorists drawing a big target on the home he shares with his young children. Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it.
Okay, now I want to stop here. I was watching this, and my wife reminded me of something before we play the rest of this. Yeah, are they guilty of encouraging violence? Yeah, that's right. You guys impressed? I know he knocked it out of the park, didn't he? It was a great show he did today. Remember that movie with Jodie Foster years ago? The Accused? Remember that movie? She was, Jodie Foster played a girl who was raped, right? One of those Fight for Justice movies. It wasn't just the ones that did the actual rape that she was after. It was the ones who stood around and encouraged the men to do it. And they had a responsibility in egging them on to do it, right? Now, it was just a movie. But what we're finding out in this country is that we have a media and a Democrat Party and a lot of lunatic liberals like JD Vance encountered with his family at Disneyland and the others he's talking about that are encouraging others to go out and commit horrific acts.
We can thank God that most Democrats don't share these attitudes, and I do, while acknowledging that something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. I really do.
Yeah, that was something else. That's your second MAGA president right there, JD Vance. 48th president of the United States. I have no words. My only gripe is I don't know how Gen X got skipped over, and the millennials will be next. Maybe we'll have a millennial like Marco Rubio as the vice president. We'll have a Gen X vice president maybe. Gen X got skipped over, but that was very, very amazing. And it was 2 hours of greatness with JD Vance. All right, now if you'd like to call in, if you're watching live on YouTube, the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, I'll take a couple calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, Denver.
My name is John.
Yeah, John, what's up?
What?
What's on your mind?
Just hanging out here. Is the topic still on Charlie here? Or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, you know. I believe that, you know, he was really just using his First Amendment right, and I don't think anybody really deserves to get shot for that. And you know, I think he did a great deal, especially for the civil rights movement that people really don't talk about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how about you?
Of course. I'm opposed to people being shot, yes, and killed. But this was more than just a murder. I mean, this was even election interference. A lot of this, you know, they they think they're going to stop his movement. And this was part of their midterm election strategy as well as the next presidential election. You know, with this show with JD Vance, when he was sitting around JD Vance with people like Tucker Carlson, Bobby Kennedy, Susie Wiles, and others, and they talked about everything that Charlie Kirk had done behind the scenes through the entire campaign and in the transition into the second term, he was so involved behind the scenes with the entire Trump administration at levels I didn't realize. And the evildoers that assassinated him, they're aware, and they're trying. It's another attempt to try to stop our great MAGA movement.
When you say multiple evildoers, you think multiple people were involved here?
Of course. I mean, and I don't mean just the cell of people around the shooter himself. I'm talking about this was a much larger. I've talked about this, sadly, since it happened last week. The same people that shot the president in Butler, shot Martin Luther King, shot President Kennedy and Senator Kennedy are the same people that killed Charlie Kirk. The permanent.
In what way?
What do you mean in what way?
Like, are they directly involved? Are they part of the group, or
no? They're directly involved. The ruling elite. Yeah.
Oh, these are like hits that are commissioned by a cabal. You're saying?
Correct. Yes, the people that have lost power and influence because Donald Trump took over and was reelected.
So that's new to me. Can you kind of explain to me your thinking on how you came to that conclusion?
Well, we know that when you talk about the three big assassinations, both Kennedys and Martin Luther King, right? The deep state killed all three of them. They killed Martin Luther King because they thought he was starting an uprising of the blacks in the country, and it was threatening their power. Bobby Kennedy Jr., I've seen him do a couple of interviews with Megyn Kelly about the assassination of his father and his uncle. And he said his uncle was assassinated. He goes through a lot of details on this. I'm just giving you the quick little capsulized version. This is Bobby Kennedy talking to Megyn Kelly. You can find these interviews. Bobby Kennedy Jr. says they killed his uncle because his uncle was going to withdraw all U.S. assets from Vietnam. He was assassinated, and the next day, Johnson, he's president, he escalates in Vietnam. His dad was running for president, just was winning the primaries and was sure to get the nomination and win. And part of his main campaign promise was to total withdraw from Vietnam. They killed his dad, Senator Bobby Kennedy. Nixon becomes president, and there was a major escalation in Vietnam. And we know that Bobby Kennedy was killed by not Sirhan, but his own CIA bodyguard. He was shot in the back. And we all know that Lee Harvey Oswald was a deep state operative. Okay? Martin Luther King was a similar thing. And and the lawfare was failing against President Trump. They had no success with the lawfare, so they shot him in Butler. And he only survived because the PowerPoint was on the opposite side of the stage, as it usually is. And when they had rehearsed it for it to be on the other side. And then they tried to shoot him again at the golf course and failed. Now they can't get to him. He's president again. So they got the number 2 guy in the MAGA movement, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Do we know what caliber bullet Charlie?
I don't remember all that offhand. But hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Listen, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take the first break, and if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered if the stocks everyone's hyping are really worth the price? You don't need guesswork anymore. Just go to fairvalue-calculator.com. At fairvalue-calculator.com, you'll find instant analysis of over 45,000 stocks worldwide using more than 15 proven valuation methods. Fairvalue-calculator.com gives you clarity on whether a stock is undervalued or overvalued. It's simple to use, too. Beginners can start with free tools by entering key key financial ratios. Or just type in the stock's name and see all the pros, cons, and the fair value instantly. At fairvalue-calculator.com, you're not going to find a lot of technical terms, just straightforward insights you can use to make smarter decisions. Stop relying on hype and visit fairvalue-calculator.com and start your free trial. fairvalue-calculator.com, the smarter way to find the real value of any stock. fairvalue-calculator.com. For generations, the Efik and Ibibio people have been celebrated as some of the finest cooks in Nigeria. Their dishes are rich, bold, and unforgettable. But for many living abroad, as well as food lovers worldwide, authentic recipes have been hard to find. Until now, with the cookbook, Flavors of the Efik and Ibibio Table. This cookbook is your gateway to recreating timeless flavors right in your own kitchen. Each recipe is passed down through generations and written with clear, step-by-step instructions. It's perfect for beginners as well as seasoned cooks alike. Not only is this a book filled with recipes, it's a journey through culture, history, and identity. Each dish is a story worth sharing with your family and friends. Order your copy right now. Flavors of the Efik and Ibibio Table. The link to purchase the book is in the description of this episode. Order your copy today. The moment you walk into a room, you make a statement with your footwear. Benny's footwear craft more than shoes. They create symbols of ambition. Every pair blends timeless elegance with unmistakable design. Because the right shoes don't just fit, they tell your story. Step into the spotlight. Step into distinction. Step into Benny's footwear. Online at bennysfootwear.com. Unforgettable style. Unmistakable presence. bennysfootwear.com. Are you tired of the toxic politics and endless extremes? You're not alone. It's time for something different, and that's what you will find on The Middle Ground Mic with host Joe. The Middle Ground Mic has already hit the top 10 in the Apple Podcast News Commentary category because listeners are craving a balance. On The Middle Ground Mic, there's no left, no right, just straightforward discussion. From masculinity and mental health to sports, leadership, and global events, Joe and his expert guests include economists to CIA insiders, and they tackle the issues that matter most with clarity and common sense. Find your perspective. Find the middle ground. Listen to The Middle Ground Mic with Joe on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're watching on the live stream where you see the green screen behind me, the actual green, if you jump over to my other stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video that I play, and you get the benefits of the green screen effect. So check that out if you want to hear all the audio and see the videos that I'm sharing. There's a link, a direct link to the main stream with the main chat in the description of that video. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, sir. My name is Vox. I'm calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
All right, Arizona, what's on your mind?
So I'm on the left. I'm opposed to nearly all what you guys do, but I just want to say that I totally agree calling out the left. I've been calling out my radicals in my own party, and I hope we lose every election until we get these radicals out.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely disgusted that the left, because I've lived in Brazil as well, has totally knows about the corruption in the Brazilian government on the left, and they're fine with it as long as the right loses. And I'm absolutely disgusted that the left has sold out in this country. And I think the greatest threat to American freedom and democracy is BRICS.
Why are you liberal?
I'm a liberal because I believe in free healthcare. I've been to Europe. I've been to Brazil. Brazilian healthcare is outstanding. I also believe in abortion, and I'm very pro-choice up to around 30 weeks.
30 weeks. 30 weeks? How many months is that? Come on. That's like till birth.
Yeah. I just think
Are you serious? So you support
hold
on, you support late-term abortions? You serious about that?
Late-term abortions?
Well, that's
Yes.
yeah. Wow. Why?
I'm not a religious man.
I asked
don't
about
believe
religion.
that,
Why do you support
a true
abortions
human-
like in the 8th and 9th month? What's that about?
Because I believe in pro-choice. And I just wanted to say that the left doesn't really understand the right when it comes to Charlie Kirk, because if the left tried to understand the right would have also justification to commit violence, because the right, like you, believe in that a baby is a living human.
It is.
Even though we disagree.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, normally
disagree.
when I hear from a liberal, I would, have but I'm not going to give you a hard time, because you're the first liberal I've heard that's condemned the violence and everything, and condemning the outrage about Chuck. So I'm not going to give you grief, but I get. Did you just find my program?
Yeah, I just found your program today.
Well, make sure you subscribe, and in the future we'll do more debating. But finding a liberal that's condemning the violence and this celebration that's going on by the left, you're the first one. Next to Senator Fetterman, you and Senator Fetterman. That's it. And so I'm not going to.
I don't think Fetterman. I think he's very disingenuous. I also thought Hassan Piker. I used to watch him every day. I can actually say I hate him now. He's actually condoned a lot of violence. I can't even say on air.
Hassan Piker is such an unlikable guy. I don't know how. What's going on with Fetterman is Pennsylvania went for Trump, so he's trying to sound conservative. You can't believe anything Fetterman says. He's not liberal or conservative. He's just in it for survival. But call me again.
Well,
call me again, and we'll debate
the.
Call me again in the future. We'll debate the issues when things come up in the news. But the thing about the left, and you're a little different because you got this worldly experience. But the American left has been violent always. The American Civil War was started by the Democrats because they lost the election to the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. So the Democrats in this country have always been violent insurrectionists. But for the last few decades, they've kept things kind of secret, since the Vietnam War was over, and now they've been energized again.
Well, I think we truly lost the left during Vietnam, when the Soviet Union got the KGB involved in colleges. It never went away. China does it right now.
Yep.
The FBI estimated over 30,000 Chinese agents in the United States alone.
At least.
And I'm absolutely disgusted by my own party, how many of our own party members have spies that were taxi drivers. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's a list of names.
Feinstein's
Also,
driver. Yeah, for 20 years.
Yeah. Unbelievable. These people.
And of course she knew. The
knew.
CCP is active in California because there's a large Asian population in California, so the Chinese spies can blend in easier, right? Because there's that's why, especially the San Francisco liberals like Pelosi, Feinstein.
Brazil is lost.
Oh yeah.
CCP and BRICS is involved with all crime in Brazil. The right wing as well in Brazil.
Yeah.
Latin America is completely. I mean, guys, I don't think if people have not traveled down there, have no idea how infiltrated these governments are by the CCP. And Russia, people think that Russia is right wing. It's not. They're on the side of North Korea. North Korea literally fights the Ukrainians. So I want everyone to stay strong with Ukraine.
You really have your head on too straight to be a Democrat. If you could get over that abortion issue,
I will be honest. I will be honest. In 2020, I could not vote for Biden. I voted for Trump.
Oh, awesome. Good. You're on the path to being red pill.
I thought Biden was sleepy, as he said, Sleepy Joe,
and corrupt.
Oh, very corrupt. I was not the happiest when he was he was the president.
No.
He I don't know if you guys remember, but he was having fake green screens. He was walking around, and the green screen would cut off in half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, man, this is fake presidency, really.
Yeah, the cocaine in the White House that they found.
Oh yeah, he was getting the brain surgery, and Kamala Harris became president.
I think the cocaine was Joe's. I think they used the cocaine to give him energy for public appearances.
Yeah, his speeches were absolutely horrendous, and the fact that the Democrat Party went behind this is losing me. I mean, for me, Bernie Sanders was the perfect choice. I think Bernie Sanders has sold out as well.
Yeah,
he's become a coward.
The millionaire socialist with 5 homes.
Yeah, I know. I think there should be socialism in small amounts.
Let me ask you: if you took
with
so your
programs.
two issues that make you a Democrat is universal health care and abortion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
among other things as well.
if Bobby Kennedy can join MAGA, you can. We'll talk about the other stuff on another day because I'm like you're like I say, you're the only person I've talked to that's a Democrat that's condemned all this. So I'm not going to give you a hard time today, even though the abortion thing is a passion of mine.
Yeah, I just want everyone to get behind, because I make videos on YouTube as well. I want everyone to get behind Ukraine, because what Ukraine doing is they're stopping BRICS, they're stopping Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Russia's on the side of communist China. Putin is sold out. Russia's not a conservative place. The Russian people are being replaced in their own country, and he tries to act like he's right-wing. He's not, guys. Don't fall for the tricks.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, and we'll talk again in the future.
All right.
All right, take care. All right. I know he's crazy on some of those issues, but what am I going to do? Give a guy a hard time who's the first liberal I've talked to that's condemned the violence? How can I do that? All right, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, yes, I'm calling from Maryland.
Maryland, what's on your mind?
You know, I'm going to tell you something. When I was growing up, I saw a lot of stuff happening. I saw the riots when Martin Luther King was killed.
Mm-hmm.
I remember turning to my father, right, and going, like, why? Why would it burn D.C.? He said, they were stupid. Fast track to today. I started listening to Charlie Kirk. Now, do I agree with him? Not all the time. But the things that he was saying at that time, right? It was like I was going back and said, I saw that. That's what my father was trying to tell me. And I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And to turn around, just like Martin Luther King, when they start getting to the truth, something happens to them.
That's right.
Cut them off. Cut them off right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to God that a lot of young people that call me every name in the book saying that, I was a fella that I didn't know what I was talking about. I hope to God that they turn around and say, wait a minute, this is not good. This has gone too far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's today's generation that has seen, has given me a little more of a boost. I've seen these people turn around and say, no, this can't be happening. Yes. Well, I hope to see them say, well, we need to stop, turn around and look at what the left is doing. Granted, we got, like you said, you got crazies on the right, but we got them kind of like boxed in. Right?
Who's the biggest crazy on the right? Who's the biggest crazy on the right?
Oh God!
Give me a name. The biggest crazy. You say we got crazies on the right.
Right. I would think Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon. What about Steve Bannon? Oh, well, okay. So he's not in the White House anymore, So what's crazy about Steve Bannon? What makes him our biggest crazy?
It's not making it the biggest crazy. He's like in that upper echelon that pushes,
What's he push that's so bad?
weird ideas.
Like what? What's a weird idea of Steve Bannon's?
God. You got me thinking.
Yeah, he's not as crazy as you think. If he was crazy, I'll tell you who your the craziest liberal is. You know the craziest Democrat is? I'll tell you who I think. The craziest Democrat is the Democrat that assassinated Charlie Kirk last week.
Oh God! No, he is totally whacked.
Yeah, he's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat, and that's just it. He's a Democrat, and that's why I said the Democrats, if they ever want to even see the light of day again, they're going to have to put a leash or corral these people or out these people or, just plain turn around and say, we don't want you.
Yep.
You go off into your little corner, you go off into your little world, and you stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Just get away from us. But I don't see that happening.
No, because you're part of a political party that's made up of violent lunatics. I want you to think about this. The Democrats say that Donald Trump, the MAGA people, are fascist, right? They just killed Charlie Kirk. They just killed Charlie Kirk. They shot President Trump.
Correct.
They put Peter Navarro in prison. You mentioned Steve Bannon. They put Steve Bannon in jail, right? They put Trump's first campaign manager, I can't think of his name offhand, the guy that wore the ascot, they put him in prison. His lawyer, Michael Cohen, they put him in prison. Who's really the fascist? It sounds like the left are doing all these fascist things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So who are the fascists? It's the Democrats, seems to me.
Yeah, as they go down this track, if they don't get off of it, then they're going to have more problems.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, I agree with you. You're right. You're right.
They've gone to the cliff, and they're like once they're getting ready to take that one final leap.
Mm-hmm.
And once they do it, they're gone.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yep. That's right.
Somebody needs to grab them by the neck and say, pull them back. So what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And why are you doing it?
See, I think I asked this last caller, and he gave me some answers, but why are you a Democrat today? Why aren't you a MAGA Republican?
No. I got news for you. I'm not a Democrat.
What are you? What are you?
Believe it or not, I grew up Democrat. My family was Democrat, but you could say I was the oddball out after spending 20 years in the military.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Congratulations. I assumed you were a Democrat because you were talking about Bannon being crazy.
Yeah, because certain things I've seen Steve Bannon say, just,
some people listening think I thought you were a Democrat because you're black. No, it's because what you said about Steve Bannon. There's lots of black Republicans, lots of black MAGA people.
Yes, there are. And there's going to be a lot more.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm going to say this right now. As the younger black population wakes up and start looking at the history of the Democratic Party. That's
right. The party of the slave master. Every black man in America that was lynched by a Democrat, and every black man in America that was lynched was a Republican.
And it goes further than that.
Oh yes.
It goes further than that.
Yeah.
And then I look at what the Democrats are saying. Right. Understand? Every election that I've seen, they come to the black population and pander.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that they do it. I don't know why my people, black people, fall for it. I swear, if I spoke ill of any Democrat in my family, right, or asked questions about why they're doing it, I'd be vilified. I would be totally vilified.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, did you just find my show today? Are you new?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
I had to listen to it. I had been listening to your show now for off and on for about a year.
Oh, okay, great.
And, you know, I have come to understand where you yourself is coming from. And I'm finding out that I agree. You know, I agree with your stand. I agree with Trump. Do I agree with him 100% of the time? If you agree with anybody 100% of the time, I will look at you and run from you quickly. But, hey, 90% of the time, 85% of the time.
Well, you know, Ronald Reagan said the Republican Party is a big tent, and if you agree with me 80% of the time, you're in the tent. That's what Ronald Reagan used to say.
Yes.
All right. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. Make sure you call me again sometime. You're a very good caller.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
And you have a nice day.
You too. You too. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to take a moment to talk about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Now, you know, you guys know I've expanded the morning show to 4 hours, and of course I have this afternoon show, my podcast I've been doing, and both the extended hour on the morning stream and my afternoon show is brought to you by the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow. And Mike Lindell's been a longtime supporter of my program, and he continues to do that now. And you can let him know you appreciate it by going to MyPillow.com and using my promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Right now, MyPillow is having their big 3-in-1 sale. This is really amazing. And, yeah, this is great. You can get the MyPillow bed sheets, any size, any color, just $29.88, even the kings. And those are regularly $119.98, but right now just $29.88. The MyPillow towels, I have these towels. They've been out of stock for a long time. They are back. You can get the 6-piece MyPillow towel set for just $39.98. That's a big discount. And for the first time, the limited edition premium MyPillows made with the Giza cotton. Oh, man, I have these pillows. They are spectacular. They're a luxury MyPillow. You can get the queen for just $17.98 and the king size pillow just $19.98 with my promo code KANE at checkout. Plus, the free shipping offer is still in effect. So go to MyPillow.com. Make sure you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, and load up. We'll be right back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Frank from West Palm. How you doing here?
All right,
Brian,
Frank.
you were absolutely correct. LaPorta Roofing was amazingly phenomenal. They just completed my roof last week, and LaPorta Roofing was superb in all ways imaginable when installing the new roof on my residence. Tom LaPorta meticulously spearheaded the entire project from inception through to the finalization of the assignment. Tom handled all the paperwork involving city permits, inspectors, and my community HOA. He was always available, ensuring me that he had my back in all phases of the project. Additionally, Tom, Scott, and Dan, and the entire crew were very well organized with the plan, consistent with all policies and procedures, and craftsmanship was exemplary in all stages of the design execution. Tom, Scott, and Dan maintained continual contact with me, the homeowner, asking if there were any questions I had or anything further I needed. LaPorta Roofing is, in every respect, a stellar 5-star AAA family-owned company that is a reliable, peace-of-mind roofing organization. These guys are spot on with regards to perfection, and they demand it. I remain mesmerized upon the completion of the job. My roof is a masterpiece. And one last thing before I forget, they were the least expensive quote that I received out of 4 quotes for roofing. I thank Tom LaPorta Roofing for all that they do.
Wow, Frank. Well, thanks so much. Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Roofing. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He works with every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, and he works with every type of roofing material. Also, don't forget, Tom LaPorta will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. He can also handle the job of any size, whether it's a single-family home or an HOA with over 200 units. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom LaPorta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com. Frank, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Brian. You have a wonderful day.
Parents and grandparents, want a smart screen-free activity that actually teaches something useful to your kids? Then order your copy of Coloring Candles, Day Trading for Kids from author Caleb Davis on Amazon. This unique coloring book turns the stock market into a fun-friendly adventure with Benny the Bull and Boo the Bear as your child's guides. Kids 4 to 12 learn real concepts without all that jargon. They'll discover what bullish and bearish mean, see how candlesticks work, learn to spot popular chart patterns, and practice drawing their very own trading charts. And when they're ready to pretend trade, there's a trading log for kids to plan and track their own imaginary trades. Each page is big, 8.5 by 11 inches, with bold outlines and plenty of space to color, doodle, and learn. Coloring Candles Day Trading for Kids builds creativity, confidence, and early money smarts, all while keeping it fun. Whether you're homeschooling, gifting, or just looking for a rainy day win, Coloring Candles Day Trading for Kids makes learning markets simple and exciting. Order your child's copy right now on Amazon. Just search Coloring Candles Day Trading for Kids by Caleb Davis. That's Coloring Candles Day Trading for Kids on Amazon. It's educational and fun entertainment, perfect for curious kids. Order your copy today.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast on all podcast platforms. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tony, California.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so I got a question for you. I hear there's a lot of people out there who are calling, Charlie Kirk a racist, a homophobe. My question to you is, where are they getting that from? I haven't been able to. I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't see how. I think he's disagreeing with him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a fair statement. It's not even close to being fair. Mm-hmm. Here's my guess on it is they're hearing snippets of things from. I don't watch the mainstream media. I actually listen to alternative news, kind of like what you do, mm-hmm. and other things. And it's every now and again I'll listen to the mainstream media just to see what they're not hearing. Mm-hmm. And but so my guess, this is just my guess, is that they hear things like, Charlie Kirk in the news today. Apparently, if he gets on a plane and he sees a black pilot, he's going to be worried. Mm-hmm. Wow, could you believe he would say such? And then they project that out there, not following through with like what he meant. And I believe they know what he meant.
Of course,
and that is because of DEI. He's saying, hey, there might have been some Asians that are actually better, way more qualified than this pilot, and mm-hmm. he's worried that he is just there because of DEI. It's a valid statement. He could be wrong.
The reason they do that,
most qualified.
The reason they do that is because the liberals can't win debates. I mean, you hear them call me. You've seen all these things with Charlie Kirk. Liberals cannot win in a debate. They're wrong on everything. So since they can't do that, they try to discount people by calling them racist, homophobes. Why are you afraid of immigrants? Stupid things like that, because they can't win on the issues. So they try to cancel you by throwing one of those disgusting labels. That's why.
Yeah, and I guess that's how they're getting. They can't win on the merit of facts, so they just put these little sound bites out there, and that's my guess on how they're getting people to believe that he was a racist and a homophobe or whatever.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. And that's another point. And I asked on another show, definitely a left-wing YouTube show a couple of weeks back or a week or so ago, before the Charlie Kirk thing, is how does one side of the news have an opinion or a story to tell, and the other side on the same exact topic have the opposite story? That should tell you something, that something isn't right. One of them, whether it be the right or whether it be the left, is either blatantly lying or negligently wrong by not doing their work as a journalist. And I told that even applies, to a lot of these alternative shows like yourself. And like he couldn't. His argument for that was, well, I got the facts. Well, hold on a second, because that's what they're saying too. Well, I'm telling the truth. They're lying.
Well, give me an example of an issue where liberals and conservatives have two different viewpoints, and you think that there's something wrong with that. Like, what's something we should be agreeing on? I give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay. Maybe you can think of one. Okay. Before the murder of that girl on the subway and the assassination of Charlie Kirk, President Trump was cleaning up crime in D.C., which he did. He's heading into Memphis now. And he blew up that drug trafficker cartel boat from Venezuela filled with drugs. So the Democrats were defending criminals' rights to do crime, and the drug cartels somehow they believe have some right to import poisonous drugs into our country. And the conservative position is, hey, people should be able to live in a blue city crime-free, and we should stop these cartels from bringing drugs into the country. That's a bipartisan issue. Right? Everybody's against crime and drug trafficking, but the Democrats today, because Trump is against crime and against drug traffickers, they have this knee-jerk Trump derangement syndrome response to defend these terrible people. Whatever Trump is for, they're against. Whatever he's against, they're for.
Yeah, and if they do agree with it, they're with anything, they're not going to admit it because it's against their side. And I'll give you another example. I called in a show. I was listening to it. The show was talking about banning books, and so a caller called in and said, "Hey, we're not banning books. If you want to get those books for your children, we just don't want them in the schools. The parents could go online, they could buy the book, and they can give them to their kids. So that's not banning books." And the guy was, and I was thinking, this guy, he can't agree, or he just doesn't understand the message.
But when
so
books are, go ahead. You called in.
And so I called in. Yeah, I called in. I told him, well, look, I think you don't understand it, or you just can't agree with it. It's kind of like, I don't know where you are in the Second Amendment, but I think we could both agree that if someone is going to own firearms, they need to be kept in a safe, secure place, so the kids cannot get to them. And it's kind of the same
What good is wait, that doesn't make sense. What good is it to have a gun at home if it's locked away and you can't get to it when your house is broken into?
Well, I think the safest place to keep a gun is on your person. So
you know where I keep my pistols? My nightstand. My nightstand.
Well, there you go. But you probably don't have kids running through the house. I mean, kids are, especially young boys, when it comes to guns, it's really hard for them to not want to play.
Not if you're raised right. You know, when I was a little kid growing up, there were guns all over the house. My grandfather had pistols on the kitchen counter, the dining room table, just sitting there, loaded, by the way, because what good is an unloaded gun? And if you bring kids up right, you won't have problems.
Well, I'll tell you a story. I was brought up in that way. I was brought up with a Red Ryder BB gun, and I was taught to treat that like a regular old firearm. Like I couldn't point that, in deer camp, I couldn't point it in the wrong direction, and if I shot it in the wrong direction, there was consequences. I was scolded, to some degree to learn those values. That being said, I remember there was an incident where I actually got my dad's rifle as a young. It was in the truck. I happened to be in the truck, and they all just come out. They probably, if I had to guess, is probably sighting in their rifles for deer season. And I grabbed my dad's rifle. I was in the front seat of his Chevy, probably like a 57 or 58 Apache fleet size pickup truck, and I poked it out the window, and a car coming by stopped it and got my parents' attention. And that was, it's like with boys. I don't think. I think you got to take precautions. I think the safest place for a gun, if it's not in your hand or on your person, I think it needs to be kept in a place.
So it's the middle. It's the middle of the night. It's the middle of the night. A couple guys broke in. I got to find the safe. Hopefully, I remember the combination, or I can find the key, or the battery's not dead in the automatic lock. I mean, my goodness! By the time I go through all that, I got I'm dead.
Well, you're right. I'm not saying don't take the gun out of the safe and put it on the nightstand. What I'm saying is or not on your person, like, because that's all. I think that's the safest place for a gun, not in the glove box, not in a drawer, but if you're gonna have a firearm to protect yourself, the safest place for that gun is on your person, and it's the quickest place to get to it too. Left.
Well, I can't wear a holster. I can't. What am I supposed to do? Sleep with a holster on? That's crazy.
Well, I'm not saying that. You have to decide. You have to decide at what level you're gonna protect yourself, but you also have to take that firearm, into consideration on okay, how am I going to keep this safe from my. My.
Well, I don't have a little kid anymore. My daughter's grown up. She's 26, so she's grown up and out of the house.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if you had kids running around the house, that might be you might consider something differently. My point being is like, hey, why would I know if some parents are okay with certain sexually explicit, and I'll use that term lightly because I think it could be classified as pornography. If they're okay with their kid looking at it, that doesn't mean it's okay to give all the other kids.
No, it's not. It's against the law. It's against the law to No, it's against the law to expose your child to pornography. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. You're a good caller. Call me again sometime. All right, you take care. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. Oh, you just made it.
So I'm a young Republican, and I gotta say I'm feeling really scared for our country because I was reading history, and I don't like calling anyone a Nazi, but I can't help but see some similarities between the Democrat Party, the path they're heading towards, and Nazis.
Well, yeah, I mean, if people disagree with them, they shoot them. That's Nazi-like, yeah.
I mean, because first things first is the Nazis. They were socialist. I don't know why they're calling Republicans Nazis.
That
don't make no sense.
National Socialism was the Nazi Party. That's right. The National Socialist Workers' Party was the name of the Nazi Party. National Socialist Workers' Party.
They had this group that would march and stuff, and I can't help but see similarities between Antifa and the Democrat Party trying to start something like the Nazi regime.
No, you're right.
And the Nazis,
you are correct.
The Nazis were big fans of dehumanizing humans. And I can't help but see that they're treating Republicans as Jews.
Yeah.
Literally on the View, they said that Trump, like, they didn't like it when Trump had his granddaughter on there because it made him seem human.
That's right. I
mean, they call Republicans Nazis. I mean, obviously this isn't a call to violence. I don't want anyone, if you're a fan of Charlie Kirk and you see him as a martyr, I don't think he wants you to march to violence. I think he wants you to fight like God, peacefully discuss.
Well, you know what it was?
Change
Charlie
them.
Kirk, the way he ran his movement was modeled after Martin Luther King. He literally did sit-ins. He would he'd sit in a chair and have discussions. You know, and that's what Martin Luther King was doing. Peaceful disobedience through debate and discussion.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats, I mean, they're even running propaganda like the Nazis in schools and stuff. I mean, it's just really scary how this country is going.
Yeah.
Something needs to change.
It has changed. Look at how many people. I mean, I heard from a Democrat just a little while ago on this program, just on the phones here, who's fed up with the Democrats and their advocacy for violence. And millions of people have been red-pilled over the last 3 or 4 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's woken up a lot of people to the evils of the Democrat Party.
I mean, one of my favorite quotes was from Malcolm X. He literally says, "There's nobody more dangerous than a white liberal."
It's true.
And, you know, people just stand for it.
It's true.
You know, and I think that when Democrats say the party change is just one of the most biggest, you know, lies in history.
Yeah, the party switch.
They like to point and say that, you know, the Republicans were the Democrats back in the day.
No.
But, you know, I have never seen a Republican do anything racist. I mean, look at the Democrats and their DEI. That's just racism. I mean, college, you know, accepting based on skin color. I mean, Martin Luther King himself said, you know, which is what Republicans are trying to do, is that, you know, we want to judge based on the characters of the person rather than the color of their skin.
That's correct. You're absolutely correct. Everything you said is true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when have you seen the Republicans do something racist as a party? Can't think of anything.
Nothing.
They freed the slaves. Yeah.
I mean, I just think that, you know, I'm just really scared because there are some people that are to die for the Democrat Party and stuff like that, and they're so brainwashed that they literally think, you know, even if it goes against
their numbers are smaller than you think. Our numbers are huge. The vast majority of the people in this country are with us and Trump. You know, so they're and right now they're being investigated. You know, these radical groups are now being in the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. President Trump has the federal government investigating these radical liberal groups, including George Soros. So, you know, Donald Trump's tired of these groups just having their way in our country, and that includes Antifa and others.
I just hope that Charlie's family goes after all them, like, media centers and stuff, because they need to pay for, like, they need to pay money for all the families of people that were, like, you know, killed or whatever because of this propaganda that they're, you know, spewing out, no matter if it's fake or what. If it's fake and it gets people killed, they need to be investigated. People need to be arrested.
Absolutely.
In all of this.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Call me. Are you new to my program?
Yes, sir.
Well, make sure you subscribe subscribe and call me again.
I already did. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Take care. Yeah. If you're new to the program, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and I live stream on YouTube every day of the week, in the mornings and in the afternoons. And when I'm live streaming from the studio, I always take live calls. And everyone is welcome to call in. You can agree or disagree and call in. The number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat if you're watching live on YouTube right now. And the calls are 100% unscreened and unvetted. When you call in, I just put you on hold, and we don't use a call screener. And I don't know who you are until you tell me. I say, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And then I know. Okay? Okay, let's take a couple more calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Well, a lot of energy and enthusiasm today from these callers, and it's great to see that.
Yeah, have you noticed a big change there's been a big change with the Democrat callers in the last day or two. Have you noticed? I've noticed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And hold on, let me answer all these lines. The phones are ringing off the hook. Yeah, I mean, it's been a big change in tone.
Yeah, it's just like what we're seeing, with a lot of these leftists that are denouncing them now and online. You're starting to see it in your callers, too. I mean, this is a great sign. And seeing JD Vance today, the lion I saw in him, the face he just had, I could see it all come out. And, man, it was incredible to see. And you know what? This roar went across the nation, across the world, because Nick Shirley, who's a content creator, this young kid, I think you might have known him, he went to England for that march with Tommy Robinson. He talked to him. And Tommy Robinson said, if it wasn't for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they have the freedom of speech, and this has inspired us all the way. And now you have a count of 3 million. I mean, this is maybe 3 million people out there. I mean, this is amazing, the global effect now, not just with Charlie Kirk, but this enthusiasm to take back your sovereignty and to, the globe, loosen the grip of the globalist elites. I mean, Charlie Kirk is well loved around everywhere.
No doubt.
It's just amazing to see where this is going, and not just here. They love him. And we talked to a lot of Brits, and they were just absolutely unbelievable, enthusiastic, and the love was just absolutely unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Thought he was here. That's how it was over there.
That's right.
And to see J.D. Vance to take the reins like he did, man, that gives me a lot of confidence. It makes me feel really good. And I think that now, just like Erica Kirk said, this is going to be huge. It's only you realize what you've done, and I think now going forward we're going to see just a force multiplier, unlike anything been seen. And I mean they were already down as it is.
Well, listen, and wait until later this week when they have the memorial at the stadium in Arizona. It's that's going to be the largest funeral in the history of the United States.
Believable, yeah, and you know what, and well justified, because this man. It's just, what a warrior. Let's just face it, the conservative, creators are hard and warriors, and, they tell the truth, and, there's no BS on anything.
That's right.
And it's just, we're starting to see a clear cut, and the media cannot cover this up anymore.
No.
We're seeing so many armor, valves, and we're going to see so many weaknesses in their armor now. And now what are they saying? I mean, you look at like, MSNBC and CNN and everything else. Now that we found out more about this killer, we're not going to say his name. And his partner, that just completely destroyed everything. Now, and there's nothing they can do to come back from that. Of course, they were trying to spin it at first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you when I started talking about the main idea of the show today. The main story is J.D. Vance filling in for Charlie Kirk on his program today. I watched the whole thing, and he in the last half hour, he had Susie Wiles in, the White House Chief of Staff, and they were talking about they already have this strategy of how they're going to run Turning Point moving forward. It was, you guys can go and watch it, but the Charlie Kirk's movement is going to be bigger than ever, and I'm hoping they're going to open it up so adults can start chapters.
It will probably expand that now, because this man, it wasn't just the youth. I mean, Charlie Kirk is just so well recognized within the conservative and actually political movement. Let's just not call it conservative. Let's just say everywhere, on every side. And because, I think that's a great idea. I think that will happen. It will expand because, look at the numbers of expansion. We're saying thousands upon thousands for the colleges. I don't know, 1,100 for high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Why not adults?
Absolutely.
And, we should do that. I think that would be amazing. And
listen, I got some breaking news, so I'm going to move. But hey, appreciate the call. Good to hear from you. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. This story.
For generations, the ethic in a BBO people.
Hold on, hit the wrong button, guys. Hold on. This story just broke on Fox News. Listen.
All right, breaking right now. Reports of a confession posted on Discord from Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin hours before. After the murder, but hours before his father turned him in to authorities in Utah. This is Washington Post reporting on this at this point. Justice.
Okay, so she Martha McCallum there, the breaking news, she screwed it up like I just hit the wrong button. After he assassinated Charlie Kirk, he went on Discord and confessed. Why did anyone on that Discord server turn him in?
All right, breaking right now, report.
Oh, and by the way, if they didn't turn him in, are they not accessories? Have they committed a crime by not turning him in? I would say so. There was a nationwide manhunt. They were trying to identify. They didn't even know who the shooter was, But people in that Discord server, they knew. So why was he so comfortable confessing what he had just done, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, to this group? Did they know beforehand, any of them, that he was going to do it?
Of a confession posted on Discord from Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin hours before, after the murder, but hours before his father turned him in to authorities in Utah. This is Washington Post reporting on this at this point. Justice correspondent David Spunt joining me now live from Washington. Hi, David. What can you tell us?
Hi, Martha. About 2 hours before he was turned into authorities, this according to the Washington Post. We are working to independently confirm this as well, but the Washington Post says that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect charged in Charlie Kirk's murder, confessed, and I want to read this according to the Washington Post, writing on Discord, that social media chat group that the FBI says he used, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." This coming from the Washington Post. Now, this comes as DOJ officials began late last week and over the weekend looking at the potential for at least one federal charge. No guarantee they'll get there. A department spokesperson declined comment, but a source familiar said investigators are not ruling anything out at this time, especially his online gaming presence, his chats, as we just mentioned. Who was he talking to?
All right, go. Yeah. So now we're starting to get down to it, aren't we? Oh yeah. Who knew? Did they know in advance? Did he tell them in advance? And why didn't any of these people turn him in to the feds when he went in the Discord group and made those comments? I want to ask you this: are you in pain? Then that means you haven't taken my advice. Call Dr. Appleton. Take advantage of his laser away pain treatment and say bye-bye to your pain. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton because, you know, when you're in pain, it's tough. I mean, the pains, I've had pain 7 times that Dr. Appleton has rid me of. And some of those pains, like the arthritis pain I had in my hand that he rid me of, my knee pain that I had from a car accident 30 years ago that I had, these pains, they get so bad, you just don't want to do anything. It makes you're in pain. You want to go to sleep. It's just god awful. Now I'm living a pain-free life, and you can too. His laser treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. There's no shots, no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. The laser treatment is completely painless. You don't even feel it when it's happening. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and also appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. But if you're coming from out of town or out of state, you can make an appointment, by the way. But if you're coming from out of town or out of state, feel free to make an appointment before you come to Florida. Here's the number. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are. And he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Have you ever felt unseen, misunderstood, or like you'll never be enough? You're not alone. Author Erica Elizondo shares her powerful journey from a childhood of emotional neglect and cultural pressure to a life of healing, purpose, and self-acceptance in the book, The Beauty of the Black Sheep, available on Amazon. Raised in a successful Hispanic family, Erica looked like she had it all. But behind the surface was loneliness, betrayal, and the crushing weight of perfection. Through heartbreak and abusive marriage, as well as family struggles, she discovered her voice, her faith, and the strength to break free. Now a mother, teacher, and coach, she transformed her pain into purpose, reminding us that what makes us different is often our greatest strength. The Beauty of the Black Sheep is a memoir, but it's also a celebration of resilience, courage, and the power of choosing your own path. Order your copy of The Beauty of the Black Sheep from author Erica Elizondo on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and free with Kindle Unlimited.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Okay, so we got another update during the break. Now, before the break, there was breaking news from Fox News that I shared that the assassin of Charlie Kirk, after he assassinated Charlie Kirk, he went back to his townhouse that he shared with his transgender boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and he went into his Discord server and told everybody in his Discord group that he had just assassinated Charlie Kirk. There were about 20 LGBTQ, whatever, transgender people in that group who were believed to have possibly seen that confession. None of them turned him in. Did any of them know in advance? And have they committed a crime by not turning him in? Remember, authorities, including the feds, were still trying to identify who the assassin was, and people in that Discord group knew. And typically, people that are in Discord groups, they're in it all the time and got their notifications turned on and everything. So it looks like we got a cell that may be at least 20 strong just in this group who may have had prior knowledge to the assassination and did nothing, and that is criminal. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Izzy. You can call me Izzy.
All right, Izzy.
I'm just curious. What is this world coming to? You know, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, we can't even have a, can't even have a civil conversation.
Well, we can, but the liberals can't. Liberals can't.
Right. No. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I wasn't talking literal. I was talking in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in general, you know, we can't have a conversation and you know, it's just crazy, you know.
Yep, it is.
You know, I just don't understand what goes through people's mind, you know. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born with spina bifida. It's where the lower back is open. They have to go back and close it at birth. I do have a shunt. Let me explain that. A shunt is a device that takes that drains spinal fluid off the brain, so it's not just sitting there. Because what happens is when you don't have when the spinal fluid doesn't have a way out, the brain, it just sits on the brain and it causes it can cause a lot of problems.
Well, it sounds pretty rough. So let's advance into what's going on now. With the political discourse that's going on.
So I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, I get it. It's tough. It sounds like you got a tough life. I get it. It's tough.
No. It's not, I don't have a tough life. I was just trying to share my story, but
yeah,
that's okay. No problem. But yeah. Anyways. But yeah. What is this world coming to? You know. I mean.
Well, I want to remind you guys. Okay. I just remind you guys. the Democrats have always been this way. You know, Barack Obama, one of the people that he was very close to before he went to Washington, when he was in Chicago community activism, and who also has said that he was the ghostwriter for Barack Obama's autobiography, Dreams from My Father, was a guy named Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers was a domestic terrorist. He was part of this group in the 60s called the Weathermen Underground, and he set off a bomb in a government building and killed a security guard. And he's a free man and a tenured professor now, if you can believe it. But a close personal friend of Obama when Obama was starting out in community activism, and read his book. You know, the Democrats have always been violent. Always. They've always been violent. When they're not getting their way, they turn to violence. Martin Luther King, the lynchings, the Civil War. The Democrats have always been violent. I mean, even look, you know, Black Lives Matter, right? Democrats, how many riots have they led in cities when there was an incident with a police officer? They burned down neighborhoods and everything. So the Democrats have always been violent and killed people. Sadly.
Right. It is sad. And it's, I don't know.
That's awful.
I'm afraid to go out in public right now, you know? Because if I say the wrong thing, if someone asks me a question and they don't like my answer, they can shoot me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, the gun control, the people that advocate for gun control are the ones that are killing people, shooting people.
Right. I get it. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I know, it's nuts.
It is. I just...
So you were telling us about your back issue. So tell us, finish your hold on a second here. Finish your story about your I don't know, disability.
Oh, what I was trying to say is my thinking. I was getting ready to. I was explaining about the shunt, and I was going to tell you that it's not about what I go through; it's about how I go through it and where I end up.
Yeah.
And so I'm a very positive person. Yes, I have a disability. It does not have me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think what you're saying is all these people like this trans Tifa terrorist and everything. Lots of people have problems. They don't go out and blame others and kill people for their problems. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, and call me again sometime. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, you missed out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hello, sir. My name is Logan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Logan. I'm 22. I was born and raised right here in the nation's capital of D.C. And I would first like to say, God bless Charlie Kirk's family. I've been seeing all these things online about people blaming sides, whose side is to blame. All I know is that I lost a role model, and I lost someone who exercised his freedom of speech, just like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Just like everybody does every day. And I know that the youth of America won't stay quiet. I've never been political. I've never really felt any type of way about politics. But this has lit a fire in me that I've never felt before. And I think a lot of America's youth feel the same way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that I feel like I've lost a member of my family. And that's crazy saying.
No, you're not alone. I feel the same way. I took this very hard. If you guys were watching me last week, it was very hard for me to broadcast last week. I was very upset and shocked and everything else. It's just awful. I'm still in shock and can't believe it.
I don't know what it's come to in America when you can't exercise your freedom of speech and not worry.
What if your stethoscope could help you hear more and diagnose better? Thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
It is.
And that's not about sides. Anybody should be able to say whatever they want to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. Well, Democrats don't believe that, right? Democrats don't believe that. Democrats, they're tyrants. I mean, they're tyrants. They're socialists. They're communists. They're fascists. They're everything they accuse us of being. They're the ones out there that are shooting people and killing people because they disagree with them, not us.
Yeah. Yeah.
They keep, you hear these Democrats, they keep saying, well, what about that Minnesota Democrat that was killed? And they don't even, that Minnesota Democrat that was killed recently was killed by another Democrat. And the Democrat lawmaker who was murdered had voted with the Republicans in the Minnesota state legislature against men competing in female sports. So that Democrat went and killed them. So that was, even though the person wasn't trans, it was still trans-related violence. That was not a MAGA person.
It's because people only pay attention to what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They only pay attention to the storylines that go with their narrative.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't look at the whole story.
That's true. That's correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Did you just find my program?
Yes, I did.
Well, make sure you subscribe and call me again. You're a good caller. I think you have a lot to contribute.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care. Good to hear from you. By the way, are you happy? You born and raised in D.C., you happy that President Trump got rid of all those criminals?
Yes. Yes, sir. I can tell. A lot of people don't know because they don't live in D.C. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, I live in D.C. I work in D.C. every day. Mm-hmm. I'm a union electrician inside of D.C.
Yeah.
D.C. was terrible. I saw it every day.
Yeah.
Homeless people on the side of the street. There's crimes, all kinds of crazy things. There was a shooting almost every day for a month straight.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can walk the street feeling safe.
For the first time in a long time.
That's real.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For the first time in a long time. And that's real.
Because of
people
Donald
don't
Trump.
realize how bad it was.
And the Democrats, even the ones that live in D.C., were advocating against it. They believe criminals have rights to do crime, I guess.
Well, that's because they want to put out this fake image of, oh, everything's all good here. Nothing's bad here. We're all good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thanks to Donald Trump. Thank you for
calling.
calling.
Me come on the show and talk, sir.
All right. Take care. Good to hear from you. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry, brother. Hold on. One second. I am calling from Buffalo.
Buffalo? All right. Hold on. Let me answer all these lines that are coming in. All right. Go ahead, Buffalo.
How you doing today, man?
Well, the best I can do. I
guess that's all any of us can do.
The Democrats assassinated Charlie Kirk, so
Yeah. See, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. First of all, this is all in good faith. Just so you know, we're just having a conversation. But as far as the information I have been seen from everywhere, is that okay, let me make sure I have this straight. The kid, 22 white man, raised by a conservative family in a Mormon church, and the guy was even Trump for Halloween a few years ago. We don't actually know. Apparently he's not actually affiliated and never registered for any party, but we know he's never voted for Democrats.
Well, I gotta absolutely. Some of what you said is true, but it's out of context. Yeah, they're saying that his parents are conservative, but he's a gay trans activist. He's a gay. I'm showing a picture of him right now at a home. He's wearing a French maid's costume, which is a skirt outfit. And on the wall above his computer, he has two flags. One's the gay rainbow flag, and the other one's the transgender flag. He's got a gay boyfriend who's transitioning from male to female. It doesn't matter.
I thought it was a. Sorry.
It doesn't matter what his parents' politics are. He's a left-wing Democrat.
Well, again, nobody is proven he's a Democrat. It looks more than anything.
He's got a transgendered boyfriend. Does that sound MAGA to you?
That has nothing to do with
it does.
Party affiliation.
Of course it does.
Gay and straight people.
No.
Dude,
how many MAGA people? How many?
Don't think they're gay.
He's got a gay transgender boyfriend, okay, and he just assassinated the number 2 person in the entire MAGA movement. What else do you need to know that makes that he's a Democrat, that he's a liberal?
Okay, those things are not. They don't have the same definitions.
What?
Like liberal have nothing to do with just like
really has nothing to do with
anything.
Then okay, so explain to me how he's not liberal. He's gay. He's got a transgender boyfriend, and he just assassinated.
I have no idea the actual.
He just assassinated the number 2 guy in the MAGA movement. Number 1's the president. Charlie Kirk was number 2. How is he not liberal?
I have no idea what his actual beliefs are as far as liberal.
He killed Charlie Kirk. Now, don't you? If he killed
but those things aren't all not mutually exclusive. Some of them
you use a lot of words and phrases that you think make you sound smart, but you're saying nothing. He killed Charlie Kirk. Does that sound like
those are words? I'm not disagreeing with that.
Does it sound like? Hold on. Does he sound? If he assassinated Charlie Kirk, we know this for a fact. Okay, he turned himself in with his dad. So is that the actions of a conservative guy or a liberal guy?
It's the actions of a crazy person. It's not necessarily.
He knew what he was doing. He changed his clothes he changed his clothes on the roof after he did it. Then he went to his LGBTQ transgender Discord server and told them all that he did it. He confessed before he confessed to his dad.
Okay. And I don't know if that part's true. I haven't heard that. And I
just broke on Fox News a few minutes ago.
And then the church, and then they help turn him in, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's nobody I know or have spoken to that says anybody wanted this. Like I personally, okay, just before I go any further, I don't identify as a Democrat. I don't as a Republican. I'm more independent.
Independently
but I will
liberal.
Be honest. I'm like center, left, center. That's where I am.
What? Center, left, center. I don't know. If you're in the center, and then you go to the left, you're in the left. If you're in the center and you go to the left, you're a liberal.
It's the same thing as saying west, southwest, man. You know, like there's not just one term that just encompasses anyone.
So this is an interesting thing. So it's not someone's politics; it's the politics of their parents that they are. What does that mean?
No, I did not say that. I'm saying this was one disturbed individual that, for whatever the hell reason, he decided that it was, in his mind apparently, was a good idea to take somebody out.
No, not somebody. No, not somebody. In fact, he went into his gay Discord. Excuse me. Before he killed Charlie Kirk, he told his gay Discord server he was going to do it, and then he confessed after that he did it. Does that sound like a Democrat or a Republican that killed Charlie Kirk?
It doesn't sound like either one. It sounds like a crazy person, and if he was gay, then he was gay. It doesn't make him a Democrat or a Republican.
Sure, it does. It was a political assassination.
There are plenty of gay people on both sides. I don't know. Well, are you really going to say that's not a thing?
But they don't assassinate the number 2 person in the conservative movement. He did.
Okay, well, nobody ever has. So it's not like there's a record of this thing happening.
Yeah, sure. Martin Luther King, President Lincoln. There's been assassinations.
Those were people that were
a Democrat assassinated that state lawmaker in Minnesota a few weeks ago.
No, that was a Republican.
No, it wasn't. In fact, no, it wasn't. No, well, no.
They killed the Democrat.
No, in fact,
where are you getting your information? Where are you getting your information?
This was reported at the time. You can look up what I'm telling you online. The Democrat that was murdered, okay, in Minnesota, okay, and the assassin of that person, the shooter in Minnesota had a statewide job that they were appointed to by Tim Walz, the Democrat governor who ran with Kamala Harris, right, as her running mate. He had the job previously appointed by the Democrat governor before Tim Walz. The Democrat legislator in Minnesota that was murdered had just voted with Republicans against allowing boys to play on the girls' sports teams in Minnesota. When they arrested the murderer, he had in his car a stack of the No Kings March flyers and a kill list with 50 pro-life people on it. He killed that person because they voted against the transgender issues in sports. It was trans-related violence, like the Charlie Kirk assassination. He was not a Republican. He was a Democrat.
Well, okay, so I'm going to be honest. I don't know all the details.
Well, I know. I know the details. I just told them to you. You know them now. You just don't want to accept them.
I'm going to take your word for it. That's what
Good
I
idea.
was trying to say. So this is my view. I mean, this is pretty much most people that are like think properly view. Like one person that's crazy and does some crazy shit, it does not represent other people.
Sure, because what's happening is you have this Democrat lunatic that assassinated Charlie Kirk, and then Democrats, thousands and thousands of Democrats have been online celebrating his actions. And then other Democrats like you are trying to excuse away the responsibility of the leftist with this.
Okay. I'm not excusing anybody's responsibility. There's definitely people on both sides that try to radicalize and
who in the MAGA movement is radicalizing and killing people?
Who's radicalizing people
and killing them and killing them and killing them, radicalizing and killing them. Who in the MAGA movement's doing that?
You got people in ICE. I mean,
ICE,
J6 shit.
J6, they didn't kill anybody. The J6 people didn't kill anybody.
Yes, they did.
Who'd they kill?
I don't remember the names. But
Nobody. No.
Look it up.
Ashley Babbitt died that day. She was MAGA. No, the J6ers didn't kill anybody. No. Nope.
Some cops got killed. They didn't.
Cops didn't get killed.
Like a couple days after.
One of them had a heart. When you have a group that size, down the road, some of those people will die. No, the cops were not killed. No cops were killed on January 6th. That's another liberal urban legend.
There was definitely cops beaten. I'm pretty sure cops died a couple days later.
No.
And there was definitely cops beating the shit out of on that day.
No.
We watched
they didn't kill anybody.
MAGA people live streaming it. They literally live streamed it.
We're talking about people getting killed. We're talking about people getting killed.
I know. And again,
so, and the question was, where are these MAGA killed? When have these MAGA people been killing people? Where are these MAGA political assassinations? I know Charlie Kirk's dead. They shot President Trump. I
personally didn't fall for that one.
Okay. All right, listen, I got to run for a break, but call me again sometime. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break and be right back.
What if your blood held a secret that could change everything? From author William Grace comes a book where reality and the supernatural collide in a story of fate, courage, and destiny. Bloodline, an epic urban fantasy. Omniverse Chronicles Book 5, available on Amazon. In Bloodline, meet Jackie Thornton. Once a Marine sniper, now a successful lawyer. But her quiet life begins to unravel when haunting dreams in the shadows of her past reveal a truth far greater than she ever imagined. An uncle she thought long dead, a loyal cat with hidden powers, and allies drawn from both legend and lore guide her into a battle where survival means unlocking the power of her bloodline. Bloodline, an epic urban fantasy, is mysterious, fast-paced, and unforgettable. Are you ready to discover the power of your own destiny? Then order your copy of Bloodline, an epic urban fantasy. Omniverse Chronicles Book 5 from author William Grace. Available now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Have you ever tried to walk in someone else's shoes? Author Ellie Gregg did. Literally. At the foot of New Zealand's Franz Josef Glacier, Ellie slipped on a pair of borrowed boots and stepped into the unfinished journey of a young man named Keller. Don't forget your travel guide, Part 1, Bootstrapping, available on Amazon, isn't just a travel memoir. It's a soulful collection of over 100 one-page reflections, blending poetry, philosophy, questions, and quest, all designed to inspire you to see the world and yourself differently. As author Ellie Gregg walks through grief and across continents, Keller becomes more than a memory. He becomes a guide, and with every step, the author invites you to pause, reflect, and embrace the grace even in the coldest places. This book is not about destinations, it's about transformation. If you're searching for meaning, healing, or just a new perspective, this is the journey you've been searching for. Order your copy of Don't Forget Your Travel Guide Part 1, Bootstrapping, from author Ellie Gregg, on Amazon and Kindle and paperback, because sometimes the best way forward is to walk in someone else's shoes. Order your copy right now.
All right, welcome back, everyone. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. I want to talk about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Mike Lindell has been a sponsor and supporter of this program for many, many years. And right now, Mike Lindell and MyPillow is having this incredible 3-in-1 sale. Listen to this. You can get the MyPillow sheets for just $29.88. That's any size, any color, even the king size. And regularly, those are $119.98. But right now, just $29.88 with my promo code Kane at checkout. The MyPillow towels are back in stock. You can get a 6-piece set for just $39.98. And for the first time ever, the limited edition premium MyPillows made with the Giza cotton covers. I have these pillows. They're spectacular. You can get the queen size for just $17.98. The king, $19.98 with my promo code Kane at checkout. And the free shipping offer is still in effect as well. So go to MyPillow.com and let Mike Lindell know you support me by using my promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Kevin. I'm calling from Texas.
All right, Kevin in Texas. What's on your mind?
So I just want to say, man, it's a crazy world we're living in today. Of course, what's going on with Kirk, and we're talking about our counterparts over here who have no accountability anymore. Apparently now they're just holding against us with January 6th, and apparently now they think that he's a conservative. The shooter for Charlie Kirk is conservative now.
Yes.
No, it's now people are absolutely crazy. Like, there's no accountability anymore. And it's like, how do we even work with them anymore?
That's true.
I mean, we
That's
want to
true.
work
Well,
with
listen,
them.
I'm going to cut to the president who's just speaking from the Oval Office. So hold on. I'm going to go to that. Let's find out what the president has to say.
Signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them, step by step.
Awesome.
Just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now, and we're going to keep it that way. It's our nation's capital. We're going to keep it that way, or we're going to federalize it if we had to, but we don't have to anymore because it's in such great shape.
It's going to get some good questions
This
here.
task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here, and you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman, a man who is involved in all cities through his business. And I say, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to save Chicago. We're going to wait a little while. But he said, you got to save Chicago. You can't let it go. And this is a very prominent man that everybody knows in this room. Another man in Memphis was saying, Bill, he was saying, very interesting, he's on the board of FedEx. And his hotel is about a block away. And he said, when I walked there, I said, I don't want to do this again. I never want to do it again. And they won't let me walk there. They take them in armored vehicles. They take the board members of FedEx in armored vehicles like a block away to the hotel. This shouldn't be the U.S. This shouldn't be the United States of America. The task force will be a replica, as I said, and it's going to be, I think, equally successful. This is a tremendous success we've had in Washington, I can tell you, and everyone knows
This is
it.
great.
People in the White House that work here and other people that I know are calling me and thanking me. They're going out to dinners. They're doing things that they haven't done in years. The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals, and more along the prosecutors. We're going to have DOJ led by U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, who is here or not here? Is that person here? That person is going to be very busy. So we're going to have U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, and most importantly, Pam Bondi's here. She's heading it up, and she's doing an unbelievable job in every respect beyond this. So also worked with some of the members of the team right here on D.C., and we're very proud of that effort. We essentially had the crime down to a very low rate in 12 days, and within another 10 days after that, it was so incredible. And it continues at that level, and we're going to continue. We have to, because it's our capital.
Mm-hmm.
This team will deploy the full powers of federal law enforcement agencies and enforcement generally to restore public safety and get dangerous career criminals off of our streets. We're going to get them off. In 2024, Memphis had the highest violent crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the third highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well, thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City. It's been, and you know Mexico City is not a cakewalk. It's been overrun with carjackings, robberies, shootings, and killings. There were 249 murders, 429 rapes, 5,616 burglaries, and 12,522 violent assaults in just the last little while in 2024 and in pieces of 2025, where it's actually gotten worse until recently when we sent the FBI down to see what the hell is going on. Last month, a vicious thug carjacked an elderly woman parked at the movie theater, dragged her out of the car, and body slammed her into the pavement, where she is
my goodness,
still trying to recover. It probably won't be successful. So we're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore. We're stopping it, doing one by one, we have time, but we want to go quickly. We don't want to lose Chicago. We're going to lose Chicago. We're going to lose places like, you go to St. Louis. We're going to lose St. Louis. We're not going to lose. We want to save these places. You're going to lose them. It was the way the man said it, a very high quality man. I said, who would you do next? He said, sir, I do Chicago. You don't want to lose Chicago. We're not going to lose Chicago. So we're going to have to go very big, and we're going to go probably, we're thinking about it for next Pam. We were going to hold it off. We're going to do some of the smaller ones. And the truth is, our people are so good. Gaddy, you're doing a great job wherever you may be. We're doing so good that I don't think we need too much practice, right? But we got to go and save our big cities, our great cities. Chicago's a great city, and we're going to make it great again very soon. And I think we can do that. Despite the tremendous size, I think we can do a real job, and we're going to give you the resources that you need. So with that, I'd like to just end by saying we're going to make Memphis safe again, and I'd like to ask Governor Bill Lee to say a few words, and then Pam can talk, and anybody else you'd like to talk to. We'll go through the whole list. We have all day long if we have to, because we're going to, this is a very important thing. We have to save our country from violent crime. So, Bill?
Yes,
please.
sir. Mr. President, first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
this is live.
Your commitment for federal resources to the great city of Memphis. And it is a great city, and it has a great history and a great legacy. And we are very hopeful and excited about the prospect of moving that city forward. I've been in office 7 years. I'm tired of crime holding the great city of Memphis back. And I have spoken today with the director of the U.S. Marshals, with the director of the FBI, with Joe Bondi. We realize that this effort of multi-agencies that will combine the work of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and the local police departments, when we come together, we can make significant change in our city, in the city of Memphis, and that is a powerfully important thing for the state of Tennessee, and I want to say thank you.
This will be your proudest moment when we see you in 4 or 5 weeks, maybe sooner, you're going to see numbers that will drop and plummet like you haven't. Just like we did in D.C., they plummeted. Yeah. Nobody could even believe it. And they're going to plummet. It'll be one of your really proud moments, and you've done a good job too. But this will be maybe your proudest moment.
Thank you, sir. Okay? And the director, as the director said, the goal is sustained.
Right. Got to keep it.
Sustained crime lowering, and that with this effort, I believe we can get there.
Beautiful office, isn't it?
Finally get there for that city.
Yep, we're going to have it sustained a long time. And your people are going to get better and better, and your police force has been terrific. They're working with us very much, as you know. Started it, as I said, on a little basis, and we got it down quite a bit. But now we go in for the big march, okay?
And Director Patel and his team have done remarkable work so far. As you know, the numbers are great, and this will be one more step in the right direction for Memphis.
That's true.
Thank you.
He's done a very good job. Thank you very much. Pam, please.
President Trump, at your directive, we went in, as you all know, to D.C. and took over the city of D.C., working hand in hand with Metro Transit Authority. All of the agencies represented here today got over 2,000 violent offenders, got over 200 guns off the streets of D.C., and D.C. is safe again. And now, Governor, working with you and working with our 2 U.S. senators and all of our agencies working hand in hand, we're going to do everything we can to make Memphis safe again. That was President Trump's directive to us, and it's easy to do when you're working with such great leaders. And Secretary Noem, you have been instrumental in this, and Director Patel has already been into Memphis and gotten so many violent offenders and guns off the street, and that's what started it. And working, Stephen and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, thank you. We've all been going nonstop, working hand in hand together, and Gowdy Serralta, Terry Cole, and Director Driscoll of ATF wearing 2 hats, and Pete Hegseth with the National Guard, all working hand in hand and being out there for a month. You can't tell who's with what agency but for the T-shirt they're wearing, because everyone's working hand in hand, and that's why we've been so successful. We're going to do that in Memphis, and we're going to get crime off the streets.
That's great. Thank you, Pam. Great job.
Does she look 60 years old to you, Pam?
Mr.
Bondi?
President,
She's 60.
Memphis has a high number of trafficking, significant human traffickers, child exploitation, drug trafficking. The local gangs there are extremely dangerous, and I'm so excited that you're going in there to work with not just the governor and willing local leaders, but also our Attorney General and all the leaders that are standing here today to help protect our children. So what's going to change dramatically is the families' lives that live there, and it's only going to happen because of you, because you're coming in.
That's right.
What has started there, you're going to put on steroids. The networks that you're going to uncover across this country, because of the work that's going to happen in Memphis, we're going to see every city get safer, because we're going to see those ties to other criminals that we're going to get out of the country. So we're a nation of laws. And sir, thank you for caring about every single city.
Thank you, Christy. Really nice. And what makes it to me so exciting is the success we had here so quickly. And you know, we've taken close to 1,500 people out of D.C. But when I saw the result happen so quickly, and so many people are so thankful, and people that you pass them every day and they're fine, all of a sudden they're thanking me so profusely. It was so exciting what's happened, and continues to be what happened in D.C. And so that's what makes this, I think, even more exciting, because we know what's going to happen. We know we have the people. Look, we're sending in a lot of help. These cities have been taken over for years, and the last 4 years under Biden, what's happened is just a disgrace. So it really has, what the success we've had here has made it to me much more exciting, because I think we're going to have proportionally. I mean, you have cases where it's even worse. I have some people, we have some people quoted today that we took out of papers. We're so grateful for the National Guard coming, said an owner of a Memphis tax service. It's so dangerous here. It's so darn dangerous that you can't get out of your car. If you get out of your car, he says you get robbed, you get mugged, you get hit. You can't go to the market or a service station. So yeah, I want to see crime stop, and I want to see the National Guard come in right away if that's what's necessary. There's a need. Here's another one from a director of a Memphis-based crime prevention organization. There's a need for more boots on the ground. You have to get them done fast before we totally lose it. They're going to lose it all. I got 2 guns put in my face, said another, within 5 minutes at 2 different locations. Said I got a gun put in my face. Then I went someplace else, had another gun put in my face. I was scared. It never happened to me. I've never seen anything like it. Here's another one. I honestly thought he was going to kill me, said a 60-year-old Memphis carjacking victim. A man walked up, give me your car, you got 5 seconds to get out or you're dead. This is what we have in this page after page of the same kind of thing. Cash, would you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks to your brilliant foresight, you had asked us to go in quietly into these cities to help set the landscape, to work with the interagency, and to make America safe again. And we've done that under the FBI's banner program of Operation Summer Heat. And
Right.
the results are only as good as the prosecutions. And because the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have mobilized DOJ to successfully prosecute so many violent criminals, we have set the landscape for the interagency to come into Memphis and really make it safe permanently. As the governor and the senators and the other directors were saying, it's not a short-term mission, but thanks to you launching us early, launching us quietly, not looking for the credit, Mr. President, we greatly appreciate your support and the advanced foresight you had in doing that.
It's so exciting, and somebody had to do this. A president should have stepped up long ago and saved these cities. So
Yep, that's
it's
right.
not that I wanted to do it. Believe me, somebody had
That
to do it.
office is beautiful,
and
isn't it?
We're doing it in a big way. Pete, could you say a few words, please?
Yes, Mr. President. From day one, the DOW, the Department of War.
I'm glad you made that correct.
Correct for you, sir. Has been proud to stand with our partners across the interagency, whether it's southwest border, whether it was Los Angeles getting ahead of that, whether it's right here in Washington, D.C., where Secretary Driscoll and the Army and the National Guard have taken the lead in helping across all of these great folks.
Grown-ups are back in charge.
We're very proud to be here to stand strong alongside law enforcement. We're glad that Memphis is the place to go. The volunteer state, we're not going to have any problems with the Tennessee National Guard being willing to go in.
That's
and
right.
stand strong in Memphis, sir.
Not at all. And get ready because you'll be doing a lot of other places that are almost as troubled.
You got it, sir.
Some of them are equal. You look at what's going on in Baltimore, where the governor is telling me how wonderful it is. and
Baltimore.
You can't walk across the street without being shot. Could I ask our two great senators to say a few words?
This is amazing.
Please,
Mr.
Marcia.
President, thank you so much. I want to say a thank you to Director Patel because he had promised that he would come into Memphis. We've had Operation Viper there this summer. There have been over 500 arrests. There are over 100 indictments. And Memphis had the best stats they have had in years this past August. Last month, it was the best August they have had. It's because of the work that's been done. And now to have a new phase of this enforcement for Memphis, where we are going to have all of these agencies working as a team, as the governor said, making certain that this is a long-term effort to make Memphis safe again. Mr. President, we are so grateful and we thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. President. And this is an issue that's plagued Memphis since I was a boy, Mr. President. And it's time that we addressed it. And I appreciate your leadership allowing us to do that. And the team that you've assembled here is going to help us deliver the most fundamental responsibility of our government, and that's public safety. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be something that is our primary goal. And certainly I hope to see Memphis become the safest city in America. And thanks for the effort of all of your team here to make certain that happens. Thank you, Governor Lee, and I want to say thanks to the Memphis Police Department and the Sheriff's Department there too, who have all worked closely to bring this together. I look forward to tremendous results.
And I want to thank the FBI for the last 4 or 5 months because they have brought down the numbers quite a bit. Chicago here and a couple of other places that we can talk about later if anybody wants to. Could I ask you two guys, Terry, Gaddy, to say a couple of words also? You really did lead the charge here and you've done such a great job. Please.
Mr. President, thank you for always supporting law enforcement. I think the major difference here in Washington, D.C. has been your support for law enforcement, has been empowering the men and women that are on the street working every single day. And I look forward to not only going to Memphis, but other places in Tennessee as well. And I think you'll hear from us real soon, Mr. President. Thank you for your support, sir.
We have plenty of places.
Yes, sir, we do.
You know the country very well. That's great. Thank you, Terry. Please,
Mr.
Gaddy.
President, I just want to say that we're honored once again to lead the charge with the United States Marshal Service, leading and joining 22 other federal agencies. I can say that today we spoke with over 30 of the local agencies, letting them know what to expect, giving them the template that we've done here in D.C. So they know what to expect. They're extremely excited. I think everyone is going to be well receiving the law enforcement surge that we're about to take to Memphis.
Great job.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask one of the best lawyers in the country. He is one of the best. Todd, say a few words, please. He is a great lawyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, look, I think it's been said for the past 15 minutes, the president ran on making this country safe again, and we do not make this country safe again unless we go into our cities where there's the most violent among us and go street by street and block by block and arrest the men and women in this country that are destroying cities and communities for the rest of us. And so what we plan on doing, as the governor said,
remember he was Trump's lawyer in New York.
This has been a problem in Memphis for a long time. We plan on delivering Memphis back to the citizens that are there to raise their families, to go to church, to be in their communities. That's our goal, and that's what we plan on doing, whether it takes 2 weeks or 2 years. That's what we're going to do.
Next time. The great Stephen Miller, please say a few words.
Thank you, Mr.
Show
President.
the same emotion you do on colors. That's hard to do.
Yes,
I think that's going to
see if I can do it.
That's funny.
President Trump's initiative here in Washington, D.C., is important to understand, is the most successful anti-crime initiative in American history. I mean, just think about it for a second. In 30 days, President Trump put together a team that saw the largest ever violent crime reduction in any city in American history. Something that people had not been able to do in 40 years. That is a momentous achievement. And now the president is going to take that same model to Memphis, and as he said, more cities after that. The team that President has put together has no equal today or anywhere in American history. I think what's happening here is that what the president has done is made clear. The power of federal law enforcement that was used for the last 4 years to harass and attack conservatives, to harass and attack Christians, to go after law-abiding families. The power of law enforcement under President Trump is going to be used to get all the criminals, all the violent offenders, all the murderers, all the cartels, and all the domestic terrorists off our streets. So whether you're Antifa, whether you're a domestic terrorist, whether you are a violent gang member, a drug trafficker, a trained Irawagwa killer, or anyone else that's threatening our people, President Trump is saying he's going to use his FBI, his DOD, his ATF, his DEA to wipe you out, to put you in behind bars, to take you off the street, or to apply whatever legal consequences necessary. Mr. President, I'm honored beyond words to be a part of this team under your leadership as you've saved thousands of lives.
Thank you very much. Come on over, let's sign that bill. You want to say anything about our great military real fast? He's won a job, he's doing this guy.
Mr. President, so our Army National Guard is honored to be part of this mission. This is their community. A lot of them are from D.C., they're from Tennessee. When you talk to them, when you talk to the actual population out there who interact with them every day, they say it's a blessing to have them as a part of their lives.
Isn't it nice to have normal people running the country again?
To have this where they get to improve their communities, where their kids are growing up and they're going to church, and this is where their families are. Many of them, sir, have said this is the honor of their lifetime, so thank you.
Look at that nice face, and yet he's a killer. That nice, beautiful face. And he's a total killer. I don't know how you do it. Huh?
Lotion, sir.
Everybody here. All right, here we go.
No auto pen.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
If you're watching on the screen with the green behind me, if you go to my other screen, you can see the video and hear the audio. The direct link's in the description of the video.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Oh, this is spectacular.
Great job. Any questions, please?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Brian.
First of all, you've got a...
Did they take down the blue tent?
Yes, sir, they did. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Last
that.
time he hit me with a blue tent, and nobody knew what he was talking about. We found out, right?
Found out, right.
It was gone the next day, and they had a lot of...
Oh.
That was not so easy. They had, that's a violent, radical left group. Okay, go ahead.
I've heard a lot of comments for doing that. They still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still
Yeah, well, I'm not...
You've got an amazing team behind you. You've done an awesome job for D.C.
Thank
I
you.
want to get ahead of a story that I think might come out. You pushed out an email earlier today really showing dozens and dozens of local media in Memphis highlighting all of the violent crime in that city. So they have no problem reporting the crime, but when you show up to solve it, they're going to run around town looking for that one person that says, we don't want Donald Trump in our city. What can you say to the media there in Memphis, Tennessee, to help let them know the people want you there in their city.
Well, I'm not sure they found that person, you know, because I saw them doing some interviews, and it looked like they were looking, but they were very, in fact, that producer and that person, I think they lost their jobs, because everybody was saying, we want Trump to be there, they want the people right here to be there. Look, it's very simple. In Chicago, they're getting beat to hell, they're being shot. If you lose 6 or 7 people die over a weekend, they consider that a successful weekend. And when you consider that a successful weekend, that's pretty bad. I had the president of Poland here a few days ago, and we had a news conference. Many of you were here. And I made this statement. I said, you know, we're very happy to announce that it's been over 2 weeks since anybody's been killed in D.C. And he looked at me like, is that supposed to be good? You know, he's looking like, what kind of a place is this? And now it's been a long time. But and as I was saying it, I said, you know, I'm not sure if that sounds good to somebody. It sounded great to you, but it doesn't sound good to somebody from a country where they don't have violent crime like we have. But now it's a long time since that's happened. We went for years where at least one person was killed. Now you're not seeing it all. It's like the border. Millions of people a year ago, millions of people poured into our country. In the last 3 months, there have been 0, as reported by largely Democrats, actually. The border is secure. The country is secure. We've got the hottest country anywhere in the world.
That's right.
I'll tell you, a year ago, we were a country in tremendous trouble, probably a dead country if it continued. So we're very happy about it. And so just, you know, in terms of your question, people have never seen anything like what we're doing, and I think they're very happy, and they want us to be there. They don't want to be mugged. Who would say, gee, I don't want the National Guard? And you need that in terms of numbers. And
Democrats.
also, you look at those guys, I looked at them, they're rough guys. They're, you know, the Supreme Court voted recently on merit. We're a merit-based country again. I said they had tremendous courage to do that. We're a merit-based country again. When I looked at the people that were patrolling the streets for the National Guard and for others, I could see we're merit-based. They were rough-looking, they were tough-looking, and they love our country. So that's where we are, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, please.
Yes. Given with all the that's going on with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the left wing, a lot of left wing violence going on, do you have plans? And actually, this is a great opportunity with all these people here. Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Oh, great question.
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's Border Patrol, ICE. You know,
It's the whole Democrat machine he's talking about here.
And they're throwing rocks at it. And after 50 yards, it looks like an old beat-up vehicle. It was just brand new. It was just bought for the purposes. And they don't have to take that anymore. I let it be known. We'll take responsibility. They don't have to take it anymore. And they don't want to take it. They were told by a past administration, it became almost a culture, if somebody throws a rock at you, do nothing. If somebody spits in your face, do nothing. And I say, when they spit, you hit. Do whatever you want. You do whatever the hell you want. I watched it so sick it made me. For 4 years, I had to sit home and watch people screaming at policemen and spitting in their face, and they weren't able to do anything. They just had a grin and bear it. They're standing up like a piece of steel. And a woman, in many cases, women, you can see they're professional agitators. I had one the other night. I had 4 the other night, all in one group, total phonies. I started to scream when I got into a restaurant, oh, you know, something with Palestine. And I said, well, I'm doing a great job for peace in the Middle East. I should get lots of awards for that, right, with the Abraham Accords and everything else. But a woman just stood up and started screaming. And she got booed out of the place, too. There were a lot of people in the restaurant. I went there to show how safe, and it was safe. I mean, the woman is just a mouthpiece. All she was a paid agitator. And you have a lot of them. And I've asked Pam to look into that in terms of RICO, bringing RICO cases against it, criminal RICO, because they should be put in jail. What they're doing to this country is really subversive.
Is that Mr. President? Can I ask you one on crime, Mr. President? Can I ask you one on
sure.
crime and one on Charlie Kirk? You've floated potentially going into St. Louis. You mentioned you want to go into Chicago next.
St. Louis,
Could
Missouri.
St. Louis be after Chicago?
It's going to be around there someplace. Yeah, we got to save St. Louis. Got to save these cities. This isn't like, we're going to do something. We have to save St. Louis. We have to save Chicago.
That's right.
I know all about Chicago. I have a great, beautiful building. I'm so proud of it. But, you get less proud when you see all the crime. When they announced 2 weeks ago, 11 people killed, just over a weekend, I think they said 38 people shot and 11 people dead. And then you watch Pritzker get up and say, we've got crime under control. And I will say that Cash and the FBI did a good job. With a very light force, they went in, and for about 4 months, Cash or so, they've been working on keeping crime down. They have brought the numbers down a little bit. But those are the easy numbers. The first 20, 25% are the easy numbers. That's where it gets. Then you have to bring in the big forces, right, which is what we always intended to do. But I think the FBI's done a very good job. In particular, in Memphis and Chicago, they brought it down a little bit. Like 20% and 25%. Well, I guess it's not so little, but we have a long way to go. We think Chicago is going to be next, and we'll get to St. Louis also.
And on Charlie Kirk's assassination.
And New Orleans we want to get to, too.
Your FBI is investigating the potential role of left-wing organizations in the assassination. I'm wondering if you think if Charlie Kirk's assassin worked alone or if he worked with it.
I don't know. I mean, I can tell you he didn't work alone on the internet, because it seems that he became radicalized on the internet. That's just by watching the same things that you're watching and hearing. It looks like he became radicalized over the internet. And it seems like his wonderful parents brought in a wonderful neighborhood, smart guy, great boards, great marks, great student. And then something happened to him over a fairly short period of time. Looks like he was radicalized over the internet, and it's radicalized on the left. He's a left. We have a lot of problems with the left, and they get protected, and they shouldn't be protected. But as you understand, I think, very well from the tone of your question. Thank you very much.
On Venezuela, and on Israel. First on Venezuela, what can you tell us about this Venezuelan boat that was taken out? And do you plan to provide...
You ordered another strike on a cartel boat
terrorists who were on their way to the U.S.?
Well, we have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was, like, it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place. And it was, plus we have recorded evidence that they were leaving. We've recorded them. It was very careful, because we know you people would be after us. We're very careful. The military has been amazing. And General Kane showed me a little while ago the clip, but you could actually see it. But you don't have to see it, because we have recorded proof and evidence. We know what time they were leaving, when they were leaving, what they had, and all of the other things that you'd like to have. But we have noticed that there are no ships in the ocean anymore. We're seeing that there's like no ships, when the first one we went, there were hundreds of boats. Now there are no boats. I wonder why. Meaning no drugs are coming across. Probably stopping some fishermen, too. I mean, to be honest, if I were a fisherman, I wouldn't want to go fishing. Just a nice, let's take a little trip. Because I'd say, man, maybe they think I have drugs downstairs. I don't want that. I think the fishing business has probably been hurt. But there are literally no boats. This was a boat, and we were surprised to see it. Now, what does that mean? That means there's no drugs coming by sea. But they do come by land. And you know what? We're telling the cartels right now, we're going to be stopping them too. When they come by land, we're going to be stopping them the same way we stop the boats. And you'll see that. But maybe by talking about it a little bit, it won't happen. If it doesn't happen, that's good. But they killed 300,000 people in our country last year. And we're not letting it happen anymore.
And then on Israel, did Bibi Netanyahu speak to you directly to alert you that Israel was going to be striking Hamas sites in Qatar?
No, he didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
How did you learn of it?
Same way you did. Go ahead, please.
You mentioned that the shooter was radicalized online. Do you
I think
believe
so.
that social
But,
media
by the way,
companies...
when I say that, that's my opinion. I think he was radicalized online based on what they're saying.
Do social media companies bear any responsibility for that? And how does that
I'm going to have to ask, I don't know, I'd ask Pam that question. I don't know if you or Todd could give an answer to that. Somebody has to bear some responsibility.
You know, and President Trump, I've always told parents, you got to watch what your kids are doing on the internet, what they're doing online, what they're listening to, what they're reading. They're all online, they're all on their phones all the time. Parents have got to monitor that because this starts when you're young. This starts when you're young, when you listen to these groups, when you watch these shows. And parents have got to just be vigilant. So sure, that's part of it. And they're meeting kids online who they think are kids, and they can be anywhere in the world and talking to them. And yeah, they are being radicalized.
Mr. President,
He went bad, and he just went bad very quickly in a sense, because he sort of led a very normal life, a life of, great education, schools, everything else. But somewhere along the line, something happened. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. How will you send the National Guard into Chicago without the cooperation of the governor and the mayor?
Well, if they do cooperate, that's good. If they don't, it's not going to matter to us at all. You know who wants to help us? Police department. They have
He's
no
going to do it
respect
even
for
if the
governor.
governor and mayor say no.
They have
He's going to do it
no
anyway.
respect for the mayor. They respect us. And we found that in Washington. We haven't had total support in Washington from government, as you know, from everybody. I don't want to say the mayor because she's better
go
than
into
most.
Chicago no matter
we
what.
haven't had great, but we have had great support from the Metropolitan Police. They're like brothers of these people. They're really like brothers. You see that. They work together. And so if the governor wants to support, as I said to Bill, it's going to be his proudest moment, what he's going to do, the governor of Tennessee, what's going to happen with Memphis. In 3-4 weeks, we'll stand together and we'll say, look at this. The crime has almost disappeared, maybe completely disappeared.
Oh,
In Washington,
imagine? No crime in
they don't
Chicago.
even know how to record it because it's down so much. They've never heard. I heard 87% is down. I said, really? Who are the 13%? Because it's more than that. It's actually more. Hard to believe, right? You're going to have the same results in Chicago. And we hope we have the governor's help, but if we don't, we're doing it without him.
And on social media, Mr. President, you had the framework that's been agreed to with TikTok, for example.
That's awesome.
Will China continue to have a stake in the company, or will it go
Well, we
to
haven't
like
decided that, but it looks to me, and I'm speaking to President Xi on Friday for confirmation of that, and, frankly, more importantly, a big deal. And we've had very good meetings. As you know, we were in Europe, our people, Scott Bessent and Jameson Greer, and others. And it was a very big meeting with China. And, they're treating us with respect. We treat them with respect, too. But it was very successful. And on top of it, we have what could be a very good deal. Don't forget, I've had more people say, could you try and keep TikTok alive? I use TikTok. I have to admit it. In the election, and look how I did with youth. No Republicans come close. I blew everyone away. If you look back, not so long ago, Romney, he got like 7% of the youth. I got like 8 times that amount. I got tremendous numbers of youth. By the way, I want to say, Charlie helped me, and Charlie was the one. Get on TikTok. He used to say to me, "Get on TikTok." Charlie was unbelievable. So. Probably, and I did. I had somebody named TikTok Jack. And he'd put that camera, he said, just
TikTok
a real
Jack.
quick statement, sir, like 10 seconds or less. They didn't like anything over 10 seconds, but
TikTok
it worked.
Jack.
But Charlie is the one that really, and my son Barron also. And I have to say, Don, Eric, the whole group.
I want to meet this guy, TikTok Jack.
Important. And it can maybe even bring us closer to China. We had a very good meeting with China. I was surprised. I didn't expect it to that extent. And I'm going to speak again with President Xi on Friday. And, I think that'll confirm things up.
I'd like to ask a question on Charlie Kirk and crime. On Charlie Kirk, do you plan to speak at the funeral, and what would your message be?
Well, I'm going on Sunday. We're taking a whole plane load and having. I was invited on Saturday, but I said I'd rather save it for Sunday. We're going to have a stadium, and I'll bet that stadium is going to be pretty packed, maybe completely packed. It's going to be big, but I'm going to be at the stadium, and I guess I'll say a few words. I don't know, but I guess I will. But I knew him very well. He was an amazing guy. He was an amazing guy. He was all about young people, getting them started right. And he was like a magnet for young people. They just attracted to him. He loved them, and they attracted to him. His wife is a tremendous person, by the way. He always had great respect for his wife. He got married. I didn't know he was getting married. I heard he got married, and he loved her. I tell you, he really loved her. She loved him, and I think she'll have something to do with keeping that whole thing going. Turning Point it became a very big deal, and I heard they had like 38,000. So he wanted to get it up to 20,000 chapters. That's a lot. That would have been a lifetime's work. I heard that over the last 4 days, they have 38,000 people 38,000 chapters at colleges, schools, other places. Numbers that, nobody's ever heard of numbers like that. So I think Turning Point could be, through what happened, this horrible act, it could be maybe bigger than it could have ever been had he been there. And I will say this, he'd be very happy if he saw what was going on. And there's some very good people, because I speak at Turning Point quite a bit. And Charlie would call me up. So the last time I spoke to him, he said, "Sir," and I think it was Phoenix, "Sir, could you get to Phoenix?" This was like in a day. I said, "Charlie, I'm the President of the United States. You're coming, asking me if I could speak tomorrow in Phoenix. You can't do that to me, Charlie." But usually I ended up going. He was great. He was a great guy, and he didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve this, believe me.
Ilhan Omar, after his assassination, called Charlie Kirk a reprehensible human being.
Oh my goodness.
Should she be stripped of her committee assignments?
I would say, I think she's a disgraceful person.
Yes.
I think she's a disgraceful person. A loser.
Ilhan Omar, loser.
It's amazing the way people vote. I know it's people from her area, maybe of the world. I don't know. They got here and they vote her in. It's hard to believe, but I think she's a disgusting person.
One more question, if I could. A lot of these, in recent of these kind of trans shooters that we've seen over the last couple incidents, this flag right here is up and down 14th Street. This is what would be a trans flag. A lot of people are very threatened by this flag. It means a lot of different negative things to people, violence. Would you be opposed to taking this flag down up and down the streets of D.C.?
Well, I wouldn't be. Then they'll sue and they'll get freedom of speech stuff, so that'll happen. But I would have no problem with it. I will say, and Steve might just mention this, Todd, you might mention it too, because we're putting out an order. Freedom of speech means you can burn the American flag, which I think is horrible. But I noticed something over the last little while. As you do this, you start noticing things that you wouldn't normally think. It really causes unrest and violence when they burn American flag. Yep. So the American flag, I wanted anybody burns the American flag, go to jail based on freedom of speech, goes to jail immediately. But the freedom of speech protected them, right? And that's been argued a couple of times. And it's one of those things. But you know what? Hasn't been argued, and we're going to be arguing it, I think, very soon. And that's the violence.
Guys? He looks younger to me.
Violence. So I saw it just yesterday. They burned the American flag, and people that were there were fine. And all of a sudden, they're going crazy, and there's fist fights. It wasn't in Memphis either. But I will say, it incites violence. And I think you just do the exact same thing. Don't use freedom of speech. Use the incitement of violence. I mean, it's really, you had to see, these people were going at it. And, you could burn other things and people just sit there, they fall asleep. You burn the American flag, and on both sides. But the level of violence I saw this flag burning cause was incredible. It was an incitement. So I hope you guys are going to be able to do that, Pam, right?
Well, there's also groups called Trans-Tifa. So perhaps if you can label them a domestic terrorist group, and in all reality, you could take that flag down because it would represent the Trans-Tifa.
I think you probably could. Again, you'll be sued, and it's okay. I've been sued before a couple of times. You've answered. Anyway.
Netanyahu said that he doesn't rule out targeting Hamas anywhere they are. You said that you don't want to see Qatar hit again. Are there any guarantees that Qatar?
Well, he won't be hitting in Qatar. As I say, I call it Qatar. You call it Qatar. You're actually more right, but actually you're allowed to go. the Emir said, you can say it any way you want, but I've always thought of it as Qatar. I think it's a beautiful sound. And actually, they've been a very good ally. And a lot of people don't know that. But he won't be hitting Qatar, but he will be maybe going after. Now, there was an article that I read in a newspaper just about an hour ago where Hamas said they're going to use the 20 hostages as human shields. They're going to bring them up from the dark tunnels, and they're going to put them in the line of fire so that if Israel goes forward, they're going to die. And I thought that was very terrible, and I put out a statement on that. You saw that.
Mr. President, Charlie Kirk, in retrospect, given all of the moving ways that this White House has paid tribute to Charlie Kirk, do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to have staff when Melissa Horman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. Oh, the
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, who was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I would have if somebody had asked me. People make requests for the lowering of the flag, and oftentimes you have to say no because it would be a lot of lowering. The flag would never be up. Had the governor of Minnesota asked me to do that, I would have done that gladly.
And given the killing of Melissa Hortman, the attack on Paul Pelosi, the attack on Gabby Giffords, the attack on the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, why make the case that violence is only on one side? It seems to be taking
I didn't say it's on one side, but I say the radical left causes tremendous violence, and they seem to do it in a bigger way. But the radical left really is caused a lot of problems for this country. I really think they hate our country. Okay, yeah, please.
This may be related to the RICO work that you're
Right.
doing, and I'd like to confirm.
And we are really looking at that seriously.
Vice President Vance was speaking with Stephen Miller earlier today about targeting NGOs that they were saying foment violence.
Right.
Is that? Can you speak more to that? And
If you're
what
watching with the
NGOs
green behind you,
specifically are
if you go to my other stream, you can
A
see
number
the
of them.
video and
Steve,
hear
please.
the audio. The
Yeah,
link's
so I
in the
believe what you're
description,
referring to
direct
is
link.
there are these nonprofit entities that organize, as the president mentioned, attacks on ICE officers, attacks on Border Patrol agents,
I love
organized
Stephen Miller.
doxing campaigns, which are a violation of federal law. They break off cement and they bring into riots. They have organized drop points for weapons, organized drop points for gas masks, organized drop points for all the materials necessary to launch a riot. Of course, you saw that during the Black Lives Matter riots as well, too. So there's this whole network of organizations. And I think the key point the president's been making is somebody is paying for all of this. This is not happening for free. And so under the president's direction, the attorney general is going to find out who is paying for it, and they will now be criminally liable for paying for violence.
And you know, a new thing that I've been seeing a lot of lately, but never saw it before, is they're walking in with bricks and rocks and everything.
That's right.
And the FBI or the Border Patrol or ICE or the police are grabbing them and taking them away, and that's great. And then they whip out a hammer, and it's a beautiful hammer. Really, it's nice. You know, this is not a hammer somebody happens up. These are serious hammers, beautiful, brand new hammers. And they start breaking up the concrete sidewalks and the granite curbs in many cases. Granite is hard to cut, you know, it's very hard stone. And they're banging away and handing out pieces of stone. So instead of having it in bags, they're banging the sidewalk, knocking that. You have to see what some of these sidewalks look like when they finish, and especially the curbs, because the granite curbs are very, very expensive. And they're great, and you know, very hard. They are almost indestructible, but not when it gets pounded on for 20 minutes by some pretty strong guy. And then they hand out big chunks of stone so that people can throw them at the police and people can drop them off bridges into car windows. No, we have a long way to go, and we're going to make it all good. We're going to make it really safe. This country is going to be safe. We've got almost 3.5 years. Think of that, 3.5 years. It's a long time. It goes quickly, but at the end of that time, I hope one of the many things we can say is that we made our cities safe again. Thank you very much, everybody.
This is my favorite part when they push the press out. That's my favorite part. Get out! Get out! Oh man, isn't that great? You know, it's what I was saying. We have grown-ups in charge now. And I'm going to take some calls. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones. He's going into Memphis. He signed the order. They're going into Memphis. They asked him, well, what about Chicago? Will you go in if the mayor and the governor don't want you there? He says, yeah, it won't stop us. So he announced he's going into Chicago no matter what the governor and the mayor say. That's awesome. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Josh. Sorry, I got you playing on the other.
That's okay. Just turn it down. There's a delay. What's on your mind, Josh?
No, I'm calling from Wisconsin. I'm a big fan of yours. And
thank you.
First things first, I just want to say rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, man. What a wonderful man. God bless his family. And I hope we never let his message die. This is going for the guy that you were speaking to earlier. I'm sorry to bring up the Charlie Kirk topic again.
Please, don't be sorry. No, please.
But, you know, these liberals or these Democrats, people on the left, they try to shy away from the fault. And we don't even have to use the word fault. But you could just see on the kid's shirt there, I mean, from what I saw from the pictures, it was an American flag and Trump doing the Nazi salute on it. You know what I mean? So the reason for him being there was clear. It was right on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. And he was raised by a good conservative family. You don't even have to say conservative. He was raised by a good family.
Yeah.
And it seems like he didn't turn liberal until he stepped foot into the college or he got radicalized by the internet, which Trump was just talking about. I'm not sure if you were watching it or not, but you know, that's his opinion on it as well. And I think we have such a big problem with the left right now because I think it's either my way or the highway with how they look at a lot of things. And to me, that's called dictatorship, right? That's not freedom. That's called dictatorship.
And it's even worse. If you're not with them, they want you dead.
Exactly, man. And they have, throughout history, they have a trend of doing this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Charlie was such a big voice for that type of, for our crowd. And I really felt like he was my voice. And there's millions and millions of other people that feel that exact same way. And now we don't have that. And I'm hoping, praying to God, someone else will step up. I know we have a lot of other people, but he was just such a good, incredible person, and it sucks to see him go through what he did.
But my wife said something to me today that was interesting. You know, Charlie Kirk's widow, with her Friday night address to the nation, she said that Charlie, isn't she? She said Charlie's a Christian martyr, right? He's a Christian martyr, and my wife pointed something out to me that he died pretty much instantly. He may not even know what happened because the bullet hit him in the chest and bounced to his neck, and when it hit him in the chest, it could have knocked him out with that, And
okay,
God,
I couldn't even bring myself to.
Yeah, sadly, I'm sorry that I watched it, but I saw it. You can't. Please don't watch it if you haven't. But God took him quickly and pretty much instantly and painlessly. I mean, he was in heaven before he knew what hit him. You know what I mean? So he did, and look at all this good that has come out in this country.
Well, I know there's a lot of it, and I think a big thing is we really have to be careful of what we're allowing other people to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like our kids, for instance, they're the main example because what is being pushed, you can try to deflect blame all you want, okay? When you're constantly calling people on television, on national television, okay, not just local stuff. This is national television. You're telling these young men that are thinkers, young men and women who are thinkers, who use their brain, who really dig into stuff. You're constantly saying Nazi, 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 fascist, fascist, fascist. Those excuse my French, those fucking bullets had messages on them, man.
Yeah.
That high fascist,
Yeah.
Like that is so scary and it is so bad. And the fact that I believe it now led to this, and you got people trying to deflect and try to save image of the party, of what they got going on. There used to be good people in the Democrat Party. I don't see that at all now.
No, there's not. The Democrat Party is a lot smaller than it used to be, and the party the party's so desperate to stay together. They're bringing in killers and freaks and drug traffickers and criminals, and that's their new constituency. And they're pretty open about it.
They are, and they attack you if you do not go along. I call it go along with the get along.
Mhm.
They full on attack you, even kill you if you do not go along with the get along.
But you know, with this press conference that I just covered, President Trump's going into Memphis, and then Chicago's next. Even if the governor doesn't want him, he's going in.
I'm a Midwest boy, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, well, hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks for holding.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
All right, take care. Take care. All right, take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, this is Cornbread again, your biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, are you dismissing the facts or the option that there might be something bigger than just this one shooter?
I've been saying this. I've been saying this since the moment it happened, that there's a big conspiracy around Charlie Kirk. This wasn't some lone guy with a couple of transgender weirdos from some Discord server. It's much bigger than that. This was a political assassination to bring down to the biggest political activist movement of our time, the MAGA movement. It was part of the midterm and election strategy for them, as well as the presidential election in 3.5 years. Yeah, it was a big strategy. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not talking too much about Israel and Bibi and all that. I mean, but the gentleman, well, the boy or whoever, they're in Phoenix. When they did the vigil, he was stomping all over the flowers and the cards and the balloons.
Yeah.
His shirt was identical to the shirt the shooter had on, the black long sleeve with the American flag.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how he got that shirt so quick, aren't you? When did he get that shirt?
Exactly.
Did he already have it, or did he order it? Did he order it on Amazon and have it next day delivered or something?
Well, but see, I'm not saying that that's that trans Tifa thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, I think it's bigger than what we think.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll probably never know. Look how long it took to find out about JFK.
It's what I've been saying. The same people that killed Kennedy killed Charlie Kirk. And those are the same people that shot the president in Butler and tried to do it again at the golf course.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right, buddy.
All right, take care. All right,
Enjoy
thanks for the call.
show.
All right, thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The people that killed Kennedy killed Charlie Kirk.
That's a great show. I love this show.
show.
This is my favorite show I'm listening to. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, I'd like to remain anonymous.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so my question regarding the whole Charlie Kirk situation would be, you yourself and many other people have called him a Christian martyr.
Mm-hmm.
And you fully believe that?
Yeah.
So if he's a Christian martyr, and I understand the principle that everyone can sin and everyone can make mistakes and repent for those sins. My question would be, would an individual that is a Christian martyr and wants to be remembered by his Christian values and how he treats others, would he be someone who on his podcast, and I'm not taking this out of context, directly states that he would love for a true patriot to go and bail out the man who beat Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer into critical.
I didn't hear him say that, so I can't comment on that. I can't hear him say that, and I can't accept that he said that because I haven't heard it. But here's
I could pull
but
up about 50 other.
No, I'd have to hear him say it, not an R. I'd have to hear him say it. But here's the thing, okay? And I haven't heard him say that, and seems to me that would be being played all over the place by the left, not saying it. I mean, they would be playing the clip, which I've not heard. But here's the thing, okay? And let me ask you this: are you a Christian? No, that's a no. Okay,
don't
you're not.
Identify with any one religion,
okay. So you're a godless person. Christians. There was only one.
Do you believe if you're not Christian that you're godless?
You said you don't stick
Could
with.
you be any other religion and believe God?
Well, I believe there's only one true religion. That's Christianity. Yes, yeah. But you said you're not with any religion, so you're godless. You have no religion. You told me. You didn't say you're Muslim
I don't
or
identify
Hindu.
with any one religion.
Okay, so you're godless. You're godless. I mean, and you also you have a superiority complex. You think you're better than, smarter than others, because you see the light about such things. But Christians, there, you know, what we believe to be true is that there was only one man who did not sin. That was Jesus. Everyone else is a sinner. So, you know, since you're a godless person, you don't get it. You know, you guys can say, well, Charlie Kirk wasn't a saint or he was a sinner. We're all sinners. None of us are saints.
I started off this call by saying that I understand people can sin and repent for those sins. I'm not stupid. I understand that's the principle.
No, I didn't say you were
point
stupid.
is,
you're godless.
you said that I think I'm smarter than everyone else because then you restated something that I literally already said. So that makes no sense at all.
It made
My
perfect
second
sense what
point
I said.
You can try to make it make sense. The second point of what I was saying is that if you haven't seen this clip, along with a million other quotes that I could give you of Charlie Kirk saying these things on a platform that has over 10 million people following him, he has
What does that have to do with what does that have to do? I don't buy that these things are true, but even if they are, okay, I'm not saying they are.
Look it up.
No, I don't need to look it up. I'm not here to look. I'm not here. He wasn't rambling on. He's liberating a city from crime. I'm not here to do your research. However, I'm not. Even if those things are true, which I'm not saying they are, but even if they're true, what does that have to do with his assassination by this Democrat the other day?
I'm not saying, again, my whole point in saying this, I'm not saying he deserved to be assassinated. That's the only people who are
Then why are
saying
you
that
then
they
why are you
condone
trashing
political
why are you
violence.
trashing a man who's sitting in a box in a mortuary put there by a fellow Democrat?
Because he trashed a man and wanted to free the man the same way Donald Trump pardoned all the Jan 6ers. He wanted to free the man and bail him out. A true patriot would bail out the man who beat Nancy Pelosi.
I'd have to hear what he said.
Go look it up.
I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look it up.
Yeah, because you don't want to be proven wrong. You
No,
don't want to be proven wrong.
not at all. If he said
You just
something,
want to sit here in your own
No,
little echo
I'm not-
chamber. You want to sit in your
no.
own little echo chamber.
then why do
and
I
not
take
do
calls?
A damn single thing
if
about
I
any bit
if
of
I
research.
if I want to be in an echo chamber, no, I don't. Listen, if I went and researched everything some idiot liberal called me with, I would do nothing but research all your liberal bullcrap. I'm not going to spend my days doing that. If Charlie Kirk said something
That's
like,
called being in an echo chamber. That's called being in a bubble.
no, I take calls from anyone, including godless Democrats
Yeah,
like
and
you.
you do nothing about it. You say I don't care, and then you move on to the next person until someone comes here and kisses your ass.
No, whatever. You can think and believe whatever you want. But if Charlie Kirk said something exactly as you say in the context in which you said it, I won't have to do the research because it'll be all over social media. It would already be there. See, a lot of the quotes that you're hearing about Charlie Kirk are quotes taken out of context.
I watched the full 10 minutes prior to this,
good for you.
excerpt that I took, and the 10 minutes after. This was not taken out of
Good for
context.
you.
He said a true patriot should go bail that man
I don't
out.
understand what the relevance of that is.
The relevance of it is I have a bunch of people on social media, and I'm sure you do too, because this seems like it shook the country, that have no political leaning whatsoever. They've never posted anything political. They've never given their political opinion. They don't care about politics, but maybe their family does. Their family has a leaning bias. They lean right, they lean left. And then out of nowhere, this one incident, it seems like it shook them to their core, and they're posting about it saying he was a great family man.
He was.
A Christian martyr.
He was a great family man. He was a great family man.
Leading the world in
He was a great
Christianity.
family man.
I don't believe.
Yeah, he was a great family man.
I could take this.
Well, listen to what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. Here you are, trashing a dead man who was a young man with young children who was assassinated by one of your fellow Democrats.
Him.
Yeah,
I'm
sure
his
you are.
Character.
Yeah, you're
trashing his character.
Well, that's the
and
same thing.
I'm asking,
that's the same thing.
I'm trashing his character. Yeah, well, if someone has terrible character, in my opinion, and you can look at the quotes, or you can just be blind to it and move on to the next.
No, I don't need to look at the quote. I would have to hear him say it, and it wouldn't change my opinions of him. But I would listen to a.
How many quotes similar to that would you have to hear for you to say maybe this guy's character isn't what I thought?
I've listened to Charlie Kirk speak a lot over the years, a lot. Okay,
So have I. Went to my college campus twice.
Okay, and I've never heard him say anything that was inappropriate or like you have portrayed him.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you don't actually go and look for,
I've heard him speak
parts of his
many
podcast,
many times.
If
I've
you
heard
don't
him
listen
speak.
to his long form,
I've listened to some of his podcasts. Sure, I've seen him speak in person.
it doesn't. And you think that if you looked it up, if you looked up this exact quote, and I could give you a bunch of other ones, I could give you other examples. And the problem that I have
that's what you understand.
is
I won't
it
have to
seems like
research
right
this.
now-
If he said what you said, your Democrat friends will put it on social media and it'll be out there. So what?
It is on social media.
People-
you can look it up on any
people-
social media right now.
People say
it would
things.
Take 10 seconds.
People say things all the time. You're not going to judge a man based on some isolated, out of context comments made on a show. That's not how I do it, but that's how you do it. I mean, I haven't heard you say one negative thing about the Democrat trans Tifa terrorist that assassinated him.
Do you even know that? We don't know anything about the shooter besides that he had a conservative, gun-loving Christian family.
No, we know
or
that he
Mormon
was
family
a
in Utah.
gay.
That's
He was a
all we
gay
know.
Democrat who had a transgendered lover, and he assassinated Charlie Kirk.
He was registered independent, unlike the guy who tried to kill Trump, who was a registered
Oh, really?
Republican.
He
funny
took
enough.
out the number 2 MAGA conservative Republican guy in the country. You think he was a MAGA guy because his parents
who was
are?
a super pro-Israel shill. Who was a super pro-Israel shill. There could have been tons of motivation for him to take him out,
Mhm.
other than being a Kamala-loving person. He was independent. He didn't vote in the last 3 elections.
That
So
doesn't
why-
mean
how can we
anything.
sit here and say
He didn't take him out because assassinating Charlie Kirk is a political act, right?
yeah, and
So he was
no
a
shit,
so
he's a
so
political
so
figure,
so he
so-
was okay. So the shooter, the assassin, was political. He was political, and he assassinated Charlie Kirk for political reasons.
But politics.
So that
run
means he's
deeper than
liberal.
just left or right. Politics run deeper than just left or right. There are individuals, especially individuals of his age, 22, who pick specific social and
Mhm.
political issues,
Yeah.
and they will get very heated.
If
We see this
you
with
if
Israel
you wrote down if you took a piece of paper and had 2 columns, one column was me, one column was you, and you listed under our names our political beliefs, and you went through and checked off each of those political beliefs that Charlie Kirk's assassin agreed with, who would have more check marks, you or me?
We don't know his.
Oh my
beliefs.
God! I appreciate the call. We don't know his leanings. Give me a break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, yes, I am Hugh from Colorado.
All right, Colorado. What's on your mind?
I'm just thinking about just the state of the world. I'm a big fan of yours. I crush on it. Not gonna lie. I don't know if you swing that way.
No.
But you got one twink in your corner.
Okay. No, that's not my way. Come on. You're no fan.
No. Yeah, but I was watching like when we got the news about Charlie, R.I.P. Charlie. I was just at home, just having a quick little tuggy, and I see that
All
he got.
right. I mean, come on. Give me a break. You know, that's the left, people. Well, on that high point, it's time to say goodbye. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Whatever podcast platform you get your podcast on, just search for The Brian Craig Show and I'll pop up. If you want to catch the show live so that you can call in, follow me on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig Show on YouTube and I'll come up. If you're new to the program, make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you listen on. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.